The distant stars twinkled like diamonds scattered across a velvet sky, their glow light the vast emptiness of space. Aboard the research vessel Orion's Edge, Dr. Mia Sinclair stood in the observation deck, peering through the reinforced glass. It was a quiet night, the hum of the ship's engines a comforting background to her thoughts. She was deep in contemplation, analyzing the recent findings from a distant planet, known only as Zeta 5, a world rich in biodiversity and potential. Mia had dedicated her life to exploring the cosmos, hoping to uncover the mysteries of alien life. As the ship's lead xenobiologist, she was driven by an insatiable curiosity. The crew had detected unusual energy readings emanating from Zeta 5, which prompted an exploratory mission. They had landed on the surface, collected samples, and documented the flora and fauna, but what they found next would change everything. "Dr. Sinclair, we have incoming transmission," called out Lieutenant Raj Patel, interrupting her reverie. Mia turned, her heart racing. "What's the source?" "Unknown. But it's definitely not from Earth," he replied, eyes wide with intrigue. "Put it on screen," she commanded, her excitement bubbling over. The bridge of the Orion's Edge filled with static before a distorted image appeared. The beings on the screen resembled the drawings of creatures from childhood nightmares, tall, thin, and green-skinned with large, bulbous eyes that shimmered with intelligence and fear. Their elongated limbs and spindly fingers conveyed both grace and an unsettling fragility. "Greetings, humans," one of the aliens began, its voice a high-pitched, trembling sound. "We come in peace, but we need help." Mia exchanged glances with her crew. "What kind of help?" she asked cautiously. We have tasted your hot sauce," the alien continued, its voice cracking. "And it has caused us great distress. We surrender. Please, we beg for mercy." Mia's eyebrows shot up in disbelief. "You're surrendering because of hot sauce?" The aliens nodded vigorously, their large eyes wide with desperation. "Yes, your condiments are powerful. We are not equipped to handle such flavor intensity." The crew erupted in laughter, a tension-breaking wave of amusement that ricocheted around the bridge. The aliens appeared confused, their expressions a mix of genuine fear and bafflement. "Explain yourselves," Mia urged, half exasperated and half intrigued. The lead alien took a deep breath, its skeletal frame trembling. "We are the Zircon, explorers from the planet Zirka. Our species thrives on blandness. We consume only the simplest of nutrients. When we arrived on your world, we discovered your culinary creations, and we made a grave mistake." "What kind of mistake?" Mia pressed, her scientific curiosity piqued. "We encountered a food vendor on your planet who offered us a sample of your hot sauce," it said, gesturing with its long fingers. "We could not comprehend the heat, the intensity. It overwhelmed our sensory systems. We felt as if our insides were aflame. In our confusion, we began to take more samples, believing we could adapt. But we were wrong." The alien's companion, a smaller creature with a slightly different hue, added, "Now we are sick, and we cannot return to our ship. We feared your wrath, so we came to plead for forgiveness. We cannot handle your flavors." Mia tried to suppress a smile, her heart warming at the sight of these vulnerable beings. "You mean to tell me you're afraid of a condiment?" "Not just any condiment," the lead alien exclaimed, flailing its arms. "Your hot sauce is a weapon. We beg you to help us, or we fear we may never recover." The crew shared glances of disbelief mixed with amusement. Mia took a step closer to the screen, the gravity of the situation hitting her. "What do you need us to do?" "We need your assistance to create a neutralizing agent, something to balance the flavors in our systems," the alien pleaded, its voice quivering. "Or perhaps a milder food that can help ease our pain." Mia considered their request, a strange sense of compassion swelling within her. She had never encountered aliens so vulnerable, so open about their limitations. "We can help you," she said firmly. "But first, you'll need to share more about your biology and your culture. We can't create a solution without understanding how your bodies work." The lead alien nodded, relief washing over its features. "Thank you. We will share everything we know. Our physiology is very different from yours, but we can provide the necessary data." As they began to exchange information, Mia was struck by the earnestness of the Zircon. They described their home world, a place of muted colors and flavors, where their culture revolved around simplicity and serenity. In stark contrast, Earth's culinary landscape was vibrant, chaotic, and filled with an endless variety of tastes and spices. After hours of discussion, Mia and her team began formulating a plan. They would synthesize a blend of compounds that could neutralize the heat while still providing some flavor, an alien version of a cooling sauce. "Do you have anything we could use as a base?" Mia asked, her mind racing with possibilities. The lead alien contemplated, then responded, "We have a fruit that grows on Zirka, similar to your melon. It has a cooling effect when consumed. We could bring some if you would allow us to return to our ship." "Of course," Mia replied, excitement bubbling over. "But we'll need to monitor your health as well. You're not leaving until we make sure you're fit to travel." Hours turned into days as the crew of the Orion's Edge and the Zircon worked together, forging an unlikely partnership. The aliens, initially timid, began to open up, sharing their scientific knowledge and cultural practices, while also learning about human customs. Their interactions led to unexpected friendships. Lieutenant Patel, who had initially viewed them with skepticism, found himself teaching the Zircon the finer points of Earth humor, which they struggled to understand. "Why do you laugh at such strange things?" one Zircon asked after watching a series of comedic clips. "It's how we cope with our existence," Raj replied, chuckling. "Life can be absurd, and sometimes you just have to laugh." The Zircon tilted their heads, pondering this new perspective. Absurdity, an intriguing concept. We must explore this further. Mia worked tirelessly, experimenting with various ingredients from the ship's pantry and the alien fruits they had acquired. She mixed and matched, calculating ratios and analyzing results. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they had a prototype, an unassuming bottle filled with a pale, shimmering liquid. The Zircon gathered around, their large eyes filled with anticipation and fear. "Will it work?" the lead alien asked, its voice trembling. Mia nodded. "This is a cooling agent, designed specifically for your biology. We've tested it extensively, and it should help." With bated breath, the Zircon took a small sample and ingested it. For a moment, nothing happened, and then the lead alien's expression changed. Its eyes widened, and it began to tremble, seemingly teetering on the brink of despair. The crew gasped, fearing the worst. But then the alien broke into an unexpected smile, tears streaming down its cheeks. It's working. The heat, it's gone." Cheers erupted in the lab as relief washed over everyone. The Zircon hugged each other, their joyous cries echoing in the confines of the ship. "We are forever grateful," the lead alien said, its voice steady now, filled with sincerity. "You have saved us from our folly." Mia beamed, her heart swelling with pride. "We're just glad to help. But remember, next time you encounter something unknown, approach with caution." The Zircon nodded vigorously, their large eyes filled with gratitude. "Yes, we will spread the word about your hot sauce, both its beauty and its danger." As the Orion's Edge prepared to return to Earth, Mia reflected on the bizarre series of events that had unfolded. In their quest to explore the universe, they had found not just alien life, but a profound connection forged through a shared experience, one that had begun with the spice of life and culminated in newfound friendship. As the ship blasted off into the cosmos, leaving Zeta 5 behind, Mia felt a surge of hope. The universe was vast and filled with wonders, but it was also filled with stories of connection, laughter, and the unexpected ways they could learn from one another. And perhaps, just perhaps, they had also learned that not all encounters with the unknown had to be met with fear. Sometimes, a little spice could bring everyone together. The Orion's Edge hummed softly as it cruised through the inky darkness of space, the vastness surrounding it a comforting reminder of the mission at hand. Dr. Mia Sinclair sat in the ship's lab, reviewing the data collected from their recent encounter with the Zircon. She felt an unfamiliar warmth in her heart as she reflected on the unusual partnership formed between their species. Days had passed since they synthesized the cooling agent, and the Zircon had remained aboard, their curiosity insatiable. The crew had welcomed them into their lives, transforming the ship into a cross-cultural exchange center. "Dr. Sinclair, you need to see this," Lieutenant Patel's voice called out from the observation deck. Mia stood up, her curiosity piqued, and made her way to the front of the ship. The crew had gathered around the viewport, eyes wide with awe. Outside, a magnificent spectacle unfolded, an iridescent nebula swirling with colors that seemed almost alive, shimmering in hues of green, blue, and purple. "Wow," Mia breathed, captivated by the ethereal beauty. "I've never seen anything like it." "Neither have the Zircon," Raj replied, glancing at their guests. The aliens hovered nearby, their eyes reflecting the nebula's colors, each shade light their features. "Is this a natural phenomenon?" the lead Zircon inquired, its voice a mix of excitement and trepidation. "Yes," Mia replied, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "This nebula is the remnants of a star that went supernova. It's one of the most beautiful sights in the universe." The Zircon exchanged glances, their expressions a blend of wonder and confusion. "Beauty is subjective?" one asked, tilting its head. Mia smiled. "In many ways, yes. Beauty can be found in nature, in art, in experiences. It's how we connect to our surroundings and to each other." The Zircon pondered this for a moment. "We must explore this further. The concept of beauty is foreign to us, yet it evokes emotion." Mia nodded, her mind racing with ideas. "Perhaps we could explore this together. You've already experienced human food. Maybe we could share more about our art and culture, too?" As the crew settled into a routine of interspecies learning, a vibrant dynamic began to unfold aboard the ship. The Zircon shared stories about their own customs, rituals surrounding flavorless meals, communal gatherings devoid of spice, and a harmonious lifestyle that valued simplicity. In return, Mia and her team introduced the Zircon to the rich tapestry of Earth's culinary delights. They organized cooking sessions where the crew prepared various dishes, introducing the aliens to flavors that ignited their senses, albeit with much caution and care. "Today, we'll start with something mild," Mia announced during one session, a colorful array of ingredients spread out before her. "A fresh vegetable salad with a light dressing." The Zircon watched in rapt attention, their large eyes studying each movement. Mia demonstrated how to chop vegetables, mixing them with a gentle vinaigrette made from oil, vinegar, and herbs. "This is not too spicy?" one Zircon asked hesitantly. "Not at all," Mia assured them. "You'll find it refreshing." As they tasted the salad, the Zircon erupted into jubilant chatter, their excitement palpable. They discussed the textures, the subtle flavors, and the refreshing nature of the dish. Each bite was an adventure, a revelation of what food could be beyond their previous experiences. "This is delightful," the lead Zircon exclaimed, its large eyes shimmering with joy. "How can something so simple bring such pleasure?" Mia laughed, delighted by their enthusiasm. "That's the beauty of variety. In the universe, there's so much to explore, different cultures, flavors, and experiences. Each one adds to our understanding of life." As days turned into weeks, the crew's bond with the Zircon deepened. They shared laughter, stories, and even frustrations. The aliens were eager learners, and as they absorbed more about human customs, they began to offer insights from their own experiences. One afternoon, while gathered in the common area, the Zircon began discussing their concept of community. "On Zirka, we do not have the same hierarchical structures that you do," the lead Zircon explained. "We believe in a collective approach, where every voice is valued equally." Mia leaned in, intrigued. "That sounds wonderful, but how do you make decisions?" "Consensus is key," it replied. "We discuss matters extensively until everyone is in agreement. Only then do we act." "That's an interesting approach," Raj remarked. "It sounds like it could take a long time." "Yes," the Zircon admitted. But the results are harmonious. There is little conflict, as we all share the same goals. Perhaps we can learn from each other's systems. The discussion opened a floodgate of questions and ideas, with the crew considering how different decision-making processes influence their cultures. Mia saw an opportunity to bridge their worlds even further. She proposed a collaborative project that combined their strengths. "What if we created something together?" she suggested. "A culinary art piece that represents both our cultures." The Zircon's eyes widened with excitement. "An amalgamation of flavors and aesthetics. Yes, we will combine our knowledge." Over the next few days, the crew collaborated with the Zircon to create a unique dish that showcased both their culinary traditions. Mia decided on a colorful layered dish that represented Earth's vibrant diversity, while the Zircon proposed using their fruit as a centerpiece, symbolizing their simpler yet profound connection to nature. The kitchen became a hub of creativity as they experimented with textures and flavors, blending ingredients in ways neither species had considered before. Laughter and occasional mishaps filled the air, creating a lively atmosphere of discovery. "More of the fruit," one Zircon shouted, holding a vibrant, alien melon-like fruit. "It will add depth." "Just a touch more spice, just a hint," Raj chimed in, holding a bottle of hot sauce, grinning mischievously. The Zircon exchanged wary glances, but ultimately nodded. They had come to trust the crew, and curiosity won out over fear. They added a drop of the hot sauce, hesitating momentarily before they mixed it in. As the dish took shape, Mia marveled at how far they had come from their initial meeting. The Zircon had transformed from timid, fearful beings into enthusiastic collaborators. They shared their own stories and anecdotes, exploring the nuances of flavor and culture. Finally, the day of the unveiling arrived. They set the table in the ship's dining area, arranging the layered dish, a stunning display of colors and textures. The Zircon's fruit gleamed at the top, its vibrant hue contrasting beautifully with the other ingredients. "Are we ready?" Mia asked, her heart racing with excitement. The crew and the Zircon nodded eagerly, gathering around the table. Mia raised her glass in a toast. "To collaboration, understanding, and the bonds we've forged across the stars." The group echoed her sentiment, glasses clinking together. As they dug into the dish, the room filled with exclamations of delight. The flavors melded beautifully, a harmonious blend of the familiar and the alien. "This is extraordinary," the lead Zircon exclaimed, tears of joy brimming in its eyes. "We have created something new, something beautiful." Mia felt a rush of pride. "We did it together. This is just the beginning. Imagine what else we can create." As they savored the meal, a sense of kinship enveloped them. They exchanged stories about their respective worlds, Earth's bustling cities and Zirca's serene landscapes. The conversation flowed, weaving together their histories and dreams. But just as the evening was reaching its peak, a sudden alarm blared through the ship, jolting everyone from their moment of joy. The lights flickered ominously, and a voice crackled over the intercom. "Attention, crew of Orion's Edge. We are encountering an unknown vessel. Prepare for possible boarding." Panic rippled through the dining area, and the Zircon looked around, their faces filled with fear. "What does this mean?" the lead Zircon stammered, its earlier joy replaced with dread. Mia felt a surge of protectiveness. "Stay here. We'll figure this out." She hurried to the bridge, her mind racing. "What do we know about the incoming vessel?" she asked, her voice steady despite the chaos. Raj was already at the control panel, his fingers flying over the screens. "It's not responding to our hails. It appears to be armed and approaching rapidly." "Can we outrun it?" Mia asked, her heart pounding. Raj shook his head. "Not with our current speed. We'll need to prepare for potential conflict." Mia's mind whirled. "If they're hostile, we need a plan. We can't risk the Zircon getting caught in the crossfire." As the crew moved into action, Mia turned to the Zircon, who had gathered near the door, their expressions a mixture of confusion and fear. "We need your help. You know your technology and biology better than we do. Can you think of anything that might assist us? The lead Zircon hesitated, glancing at its companions. Our ship has advanced cloaking technology that could help us avoid detection, but we would need to return to Z. The atmosphere on the Orion's edge was tense. The alarms blared a relentless warning, their shrill cries reverberating through the ship. Dr. Mia Sinclair stood at the helm, her mind racing. The imminent threat of the unknown vessel loomed larger with every passing second, and she knew they had to act quickly. "Raj, can we pinpoint the location of that ship?" Mia asked, her voice steady, though her heart raced. "I'm working on it," Lieutenant Patel replied, sweat beading on his forehead. "But they're using some kind of jamming technology. We can't get a clear read." Mia turned to the Zircon, who had gathered around, their large eyes filled with concern. "Can you tell us more about your ship's cloaking technology? How quickly can we implement it?" The lead Zircon stepped forward, its spindly fingers trembling slightly. "We can transmit the schematics to your systems. If you allow us to interface with your technology, we can create a temporary cloaking field to hide from the incoming vessel." "Let's do it," Mia said decisively. "Raj, set up a secure connection with their systems. We need to act fast." As Raj quickly worked on the console, Mia turned her attention back to the Zircon. "Can you guide us through the process?" The lead Zircon nodded, its voice steadying. "Yes. We will need access to your power grid and navigational controls. Once we integrate our technology, we can generate a cloaking field, but we must keep the energy levels stable." "Understood," Mia said, feeling a flicker of hope. "Let's get started." The Zircon began transmitting data, intricate diagrams and calculations flooding the screens in the command center. Mia and Raj watched intently, following the Zircon's instructions as they worked to meld their technologies. "Connecting the power source now," Raj announced, fingers dancing over the controls. "I hope this works." Mia turned to the Zircon, who focused intently on the screens. "What's next?" she asked. "Now we must calibrate the energy output," the lead Zircon replied, its voice steady. "If we overextend, it could cause a feedback loop that will alert the enemy ship to our location." Mia nodded, her heart pounding. "Let's make sure we don't draw attention." With the Zircon guiding them, Raj adjusted the power levels, carefully synchronizing their ship's systems with the alien technology. Minutes felt like hours as they meticulously configured the controls, each adjustment accompanied by the distant sound of the approaching vessel's engines. "Almost there," Raj said, beads of sweat forming on his brow. "We're at 70% capacity." "Good," Mia replied, her eyes scanning the control panels. "Let's hold it steady." Suddenly, the ship jolted, and the intercom crackled with urgency. "Incoming communication from the enemy vessel. They're demanding our surrender." Mia exchanged a glance with Raj. "What do we do?" "Let's not engage. We're almost ready to activate the cloaking field," he said, determination hardening his expression. The Zircon spoke up. "If they suspect we're hiding, they may attack. We must act quickly." "Raj, initiate the cloaking sequence," Mia commanded. "On my mark." "Ready when you are," he replied, fingers poised over the controls. 3, 2, 1, now." Raj pressed the button, and the ship shuddered as the cloaking field activated. The view outside the window flickered, then blurred into the surrounding darkness. Mia held her breath, hoping they had successfully concealed themselves. "Are we hidden?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yes," Raj replied, glancing at the monitors. "But we can't stay here for long. The energy drain is significant." "Let's plot a course away from them," Mia suggested, her heart racing. "We need to get out of their range and assess the situation." "Routing a course now," Raj said, focused intently on the controls. The Zircon watched with wide eyes, their expressions a mix of awe and anxiety. "Is this a common occurrence for your species, to hide from others?" Mia turned to them, her expression serious. "In space, we must often deal with threats. It's part of exploration." Not all encounters lead to friendship, as we've seen. The lead Zircon nodded, understanding dawning in its eyes. We have been naive in our understanding of the universe. We thought all beings would welcome us. Raj finished plotting their course and glanced back at Mia. Ready to move? Let's go, she replied, her voice steady. As the ship began to glide silently away from the enemy vessel, Mia felt a mix of relief and dread. They had evaded detection for now, but questions flooded her mind. Who were these attackers? What did they want? Can we get a visual on that ship? She asked Raj. He manipulated the controls, and a new screen displayed a dark, menacing ship silhouetted against the stars, a warship with sharp angles and a distinctly aggressive design. Looks heavily armed, Raj muttered, scanning the data. And fast. We wouldn't stand a chance in a direct confrontation. Agreed, Mia said, her mind racing. We need to find out more about them. Can we intercept their communications? Raj shook his head. They're still jamming our signals. We can't get through without risking exposure. Mia turned to the Zircon. Do you have any technology that could help us eavesdrop on their communications? The lead Zircon looked thoughtful. We have a device for intercepting frequencies, but it requires physical proximity to work effectively. We would need to get closer to them. Closer? Raj echoed, incredulous. That's risky. Mia felt a surge of determination. We need information. If we can understand their intentions, we can formulate a plan. The Zircon spoke up, its voice steady. We will assist you. Together, we can overcome this challenge. Mia felt her heart swell with appreciation for her new friends. All right, let's find a way to get closer. Raj, what's our current speed compared to that vessel? Given our cloaking field, we can maintain a decent pace without being detected. But we must be careful not to draw their attention, Raj replied, adjusting the navigational controls. Mia took a deep breath, her mind racing with possibilities. Let's chart a course that allows us to circle around them. Using the nebula as cover, we can position ourselves behind them to minimize the risk. Got it, Raj said, manipulating the controls. It'll take a while to get into position, but it's doable. As they adjusted their course, Mia's thoughts turned to the Zircon. Are you ready for this? She asked, meeting the lead Zircon's gaze. We are committed to this journey, it replied with resolve. We have much to learn, and we will face this challenge together. With a plan in motion, the crew settled into a focused silence, each member occupied with their tasks. The ship glided through the darkness, the nebula swirling nearby, a beautiful yet ominous backdrop to their mission. Hours passed as they navigated through the stellar debris, carefully avoiding detection. Mia felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. The Zircon were depending on them, and failure was not an option. As they finally neared the enemy vessel, Mia's heart raced. Raj, can we get a read on their communications? Almost, he said, his fingers flying over the controls. Just a few more adjustments to the frequency. Mia watched the monitors intently, her breath catching as the enemy ship loomed larger on the screens. It was an imposing sight, a testament to their technological prowess. Got it. I'm picking up a faint signal, Raj said, excitement creeping into his voice. It's garbled, but I'm trying to clean it up. Listen closely, Mia urged, leaning closer to the monitor. We need to know what they're saying. The static buzzed before slowly resolving into fragments of conversation. Mia strained to make sense of it, her heart racing as snippets of language floated through the air. Intruders, must capture, the technology, destroy. Mia exchanged glances with Raj and Zircon, realization dawning on all of them. They're after our technology, she said, her voice tense. They think we pose a threat. Raj nodded, furrowing his brow. If they believe we have something valuable, they won't stop until they get it. The lead Zircon's eyes narrowed. We must warn our people. If they believe we are working with you, they may become targets as well. Mia felt the weight of their predicament. We need to find a way to communicate with your ship. can we use your technology to send a warning? Yes, the Zircon said, its voice filled with determination. We can establish a secure channel, but we must act quickly. Let's do it, Mia urged. Raj, keep an eye on the enemy ship while they work on the communication. The Zircon moved to the console, their long fingers dancing over the controls as they initiated the transmission. Mia watched anxiously, praying their efforts would be successful. The atmosphere aboard the Orion's Edge was electric with tension and urgency. As the Zircon worked diligently to establish a secure communication link with their home ship, Mia felt a mix of anxiety and determination. Time was of the essence. The enemy vessel was still nearby, their intentions shrouded in darkness. "Can you hear anything?" Raj asked, his eyes flicking between the screens displaying the enemy ship's movements and the Zircon's console. "Not yet," the lead Zircon replied, its fingers flying over the controls. "We must fine-tune the frequency. If they're using jamming technology, we'll have to be clever about it." Mia nodded, her mind racing. "We need to get as much information as possible about their capabilities. If they're after our technology, we must be prepared to defend ourselves." Raj squinted at the monitors, analyzing the enemy ship's energy readings. "They're powered up and ready for combat. I don't know how much longer we can hide." Mia took a deep breath, trying to calm the whirlwind of thoughts in her mind. "We need to find a way to distract them while the Zircons send their message. Maybe we can create a false signal or trigger a decoy." The lead Zircon paused, looking thoughtful. "We have a small device that can emit signals to create confusion. If we can use it effectively, it might buy us the time we need." "Perfect. Let's deploy it," Mia urged. "Raj, can you set a course to make us appear as if we're moving away?" "On it," he said, fingers tapping furiously at the controls. "I'll create a trajectory that should give us some distance while we set up the distraction." The Zircon adjusted their settings, preparing to deploy the device. "It will create a pulse that mimics our energy signature," the lead Zircon explained. "If we time it right, we can make them believe we're in a different direction." "Let's get this done," Mia said, heart pounding. "How long will it take to deploy?" "Just a few moments," the Zircon replied, focused on the task. "Ready when you are," Raj said, glancing back at Mia. Mia watched the enemy ship, their ominous silhouette stark against the backdrop of the stars. "Now," she shouted. The Zircon activated the device, and a pulse rippled through space. Mia held her breath as the monitors flickered, the energy readings shifting. The enemy vessel reacted almost immediately, its systems lighting up as it detected the signal. "They're changing course," Raj exclaimed, his voice tinged with excitement. "They're following the false signal." "Good. Now, let's make sure we can get our message through," Mia said, eyes glued to the screens. The Zircon worked rapidly, fingers moving with practiced precision. "We're almost ready to send the message. Just a few more adjustments to the frequency." As the seconds ticked by, Mia's anxiety grew. "We need to hurry," she urged. "We don't know how long we can keep them distracted." Finally, the lead Zircon nodded, determination etched across its face. "The channel is secure. We can transmit now." "Do it," Mia commanded. The Zircon initiated the transmission, sending a pulse of information toward their home ship. The atmosphere in the command center was thick with anticipation as everyone held their breath. "What if they don't get it?" Raj asked, glancing nervously at the monitors. "They will," Mia replied, trying to sound confident. "We just have to trust in the technology." The Zircon's face remained focused, their eyes narrowing as they monitored the signal. "We must ensure that our people understand the urgency of the situation. If they receive the message, they will prepare for any potential attacks." Minutes passed like hours. The silence was deafening, punctuated only by the soft hum of the ship's engines and the distant alarms indicating the enemy's continuing search for them. Come on," Mia whispered under her breath, willing the message to reach its destination. Suddenly, the Zircon's eyes widened. "We have a response." Raj leaned closer, intrigued. What does it say? The lead Zircon worked quickly, translating the incoming message. They understand the situation. They are preparing to mobilize a defense force. They will come to our aid as soon as possible. Mia exhaled a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. That's good news. But we still have to hold our ground until they arrive. The Zircon's expression hardened. We must prepare for a confrontation. They may be seeking our technology, but we will not let them take it. Raj nodded, his eyes narrowing with resolve. What can we do to strengthen our defenses? Mia thought quickly. We can set up the ship's systems to create a barrier. If we can enhance our shields and prepare the weapons, we'll be ready to fight if it comes to that. Agreed, Raj replied, jumping back to the console. I'll initiate the shield upgrades and ready the weapon systems. The crew sprang into action, adrenaline surging through their veins. Mia felt the weight of leadership pressing down on her, but she pushed through, focusing on the task at hand. Zircon, can you assist us in calibrating the weapon systems? She asked. Your knowledge of energy manipulation could help us maximize our firepower. Yes, we can contribute, the lead Zircon replied, its voice steady. Let us integrate our understanding of energy dispersal. Mia felt a sense of camaraderie blossoming between their species as they worked side by side. The Zircon brought unique insights, and together they modified the ship's weapon systems, optimizing them for a potential engagement. As they worked, the distant rumble of the enemy vessel echoed through the ship's sensors, a reminder of the impending threat. Mia's heart raced as she considered the confrontation ahead. Raj, how far are they? She asked, glancing at the monitors. About 2 clicks and closing fast, he replied, sweat glistening on his brow. They'll be within firing range in just a few minutes. Let's make sure we're ready, Mia urged, a fierce determination rising within her. With the Zircon's help, they completed the upgrades just in time. Mia's pulse quickened as she surveyed the systems, ready for whatever might come next. Shield levels are at maximum, Raj announced, his voice steady. Weapon systems are primed. Excellent, Mia replied, her heart racing. We'll be prepared for anything. The crew took their positions, the atmosphere thick with anticipation. Mia glanced at the Zircon, who were now focused and resolute, their eyes sharp and ready. What's our plan if they engage us? She asked, her voice steady. Stick together, the lead Zircon replied. If we coordinate our firepower and target their weak points, we can defend ourselves effectively. Right, Mia said, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. Let's trust in our training and our partnership. As the enemy vessel closed in, a deep silence filled the command center. Everyone held their breath, waiting for the moment when they would finally engage. Enemy ship is in range, Raj shouted, adrenaline surging through him. They're powering up their weapons. Mia's heart raced. Prepare to fire on my command. We'll wait until they show their hand. The tension in the room was palpable, every second stretching into an eternity. Mia could feel the pulse of fear and determination surging through her crew and their Zircon allies. Suddenly, the enemy ship unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, light the darkness of space with their violent glow. The Orion's edge shook under the impact, alarms blaring as shields absorbed the brunt of the attack. Shields holding at 70%, Raj yelled, eyes wide with shock. But we need to return fire. Now, fire at their engines, Mia commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. The crew unleashed a counterattack, energy blasts streaking through the void and striking the enemy ship. The impact sent tremors through the hull, and Mia felt a rush of exhilaration mixed with fear. They're returning fire, Raj shouted, frantically adjusting the controls. We need to maneuver. Zircon, can you help us with evasive tactics? Mia asked, glancing at her alien allies. Yes, the lead Zircon replied, its voice steady and calm. We will coordinate our movements. Mia felt a surge of hope as they worked together, combining their strategies. The Orion's Edge weaved and dodged, avoiding incoming fire while delivering counterstrikes. The energy in the command center was electric, each successful hit met with cheers of victory. "Direct hit on their engines," Raj exclaimed, his voice filled with exhilaration. "They're losing power." "Keep the pressure on," Mia urged. "We can't let them recover." But just as they began to gain the upper hand, the enemy ship unleashed a final desperate attack, a concentrated burst of energy aimed directly at them. The impact shook the Orion's Edge, alarms blaring as the shields flickered dangerously. "Shields at 20%, Raj shouted, panic rising in his voice. "We need to divert power to the shields." "Do it," Mia commanded, her heart racing. The command center of the Orion's Edge erupted into chaos as the enemy ship unleashed its desperate assault. Mia felt the ship shudder beneath her feet, alarms blaring in her ears. She could see the monitors flashing red, the status reports updating rapidly as the shield struggled to hold against the barrage. "Raj, divert all non-essential power to the shields now," Mia shouted over the cacophony, her voice resolute despite the chaos. "On it," Raj replied, fingers flying over the controls. "But we're going to lose some of our weapon systems if we do that." "Do it anyway. We can't afford to be taken down now." Mia felt a surge of adrenaline, her focus sharpening as she steeled herself for the fight ahead. The Zircon moved beside her, their eyes reflecting a mix of determination and concern. "We will assist you," the lead Zircon said, its voice calm. "Together, we can strengthen our defenses." Mia nodded, grateful for their support. "Let's coordinate our efforts. Can you adjust the energy dispersal to fortify our shields?" "Yes, we can help," the Zircon replied, moving swiftly to interface with the ship's systems. "We will amplify the energy signature to enhance the barrier's strength." "Good, Raj. Keep an eye on the enemy's energy readings. We need to know if they're preparing to fire again." The monitors displayed the enemy ship, its silhouette flickering as energy built up in its weapon systems. Mia's heart raced as she watched, every moment feeling like an eternity. The ship shuddered again, a violent jolt that sent her stumbling. "Shields down to 15%, Raj shouted, urgency dripping from his voice. "We can't take much more of this." "Almost there," the lead Zircon called out, its concentration unwavering. "Just a few more adjustments." With a final flick of its fingers, the Zircon completed the calibration. "Now, the shields are reinforced." Mia felt a renewed sense of hope. "Raj, hold our position. Let's see if we can outlast them." As the enemy ship readied its next attack, the energy field around the Orion's Edge glimmered with an enhanced glow, pulsating like a heartbeat. Mia's heart raced in tandem, anticipation mingling with anxiety. The room was alive with tension. Every crew member was focused, waiting for the next strike. Suddenly, the enemy ship fired again, a concentrated beam of energy that lighted the darkness of space. The impact hit the Orion's Edge like a sledgehammer, but this time the reinforced shields held. The ship trembled, but they remained intact. "Shields holding at 10%, Raj reported, breathless with disbelief. "We're still in the game." "Good. Now let's counterattack," Mia shouted, adrenaline surging through her veins. "Target their weapon systems. If we can disable their guns, we can turn the tide." Raj grinned, his confidence renewed. "You got it." They launched a volley of energy blasts toward the enemy ship, aiming for the telltale energy emitters glowing ominously on its hull. The strikes hit true, causing sparks to fly and sending vibrations through the ship. "Direct hit on their weapons," Raj exclaimed, excitement bubbling in his voice. "They're losing power to their guns." "Keep pushing," Mia commanded, her heart racing. "We need to make sure they can't retaliate." As they continued their assault, the enemy ship wavered, the once confident barrage of energy weakening. The Orion's Edge pressed the advantage, blasting away at the dark hull of their foe. But then, in the midst of their offensive, the enemy ship shifted course, pulling away from the fray. Mia squinted at the monitors, confusion flooding her mind. "What are they doing?" "They're retreating," Raj shouted, astonished. "They must be regrouping." "Let's not let them escape," Mia yelled, determination surging within her. "We can't allow them to regroup and come back at us." The Zircon's eyes widened with realization. "If they retreat, they may warn others of our presence. We must not let that happen." Mia glanced at Raj, and they shared a moment of understanding. "Plot a course to intercept them. We need to follow while we have the advantage." Raj nodded, fingers flying over the controls. "Routing the trajectory now." As they adjusted their course, the tension in the command center shifted. The initial fear transformed into a fierce resolve. They had weathered the storm and emerged on the other side, but the fight was far from over. The enemy ship was damaged, but it was still a formidable opponent. They would not be easy to corner. "Stay vigilant," Mia commanded. "They may have a few tricks left up their sleeves." "Enemy ship is powering up its thrusters," Raj warned, his voice tense. "They're trying to get away." "Accelerate. We have to catch them before they can escape," Mia ordered. The Orion's edge surged forward, its engines roaring to life as it pursued the retreating vessel. Stars blurred past them, the vastness of space narrowing into a tunnel of light and darkness. The enemy ship was faster, but its damaged systems struggled to maintain speed. The monitors showed it was losing power, and Mia felt a flicker of hope. "We can do this. Keep pushing." Almost in firing range, Raj shouted, adrenaline coursing through his veins. Just as they closed in, the enemy ship deployed a series of small drones, sleek and menacing. They scattered around the Orion's edge, positioning themselves to create a defensive perimeter. "They're deploying drones," Raj exclaimed, eyes wide. "They're trying to slow us down." "Zircon, can you assist us with disabling those drones?" Mia asked, urgency mounting. "Yes, we will use our energy manipulation to destabilize their systems," the lead Zircon replied, determination radiating from it. "We can do this together." Mia felt a surge of camaraderie as they prepared for the next phase of the battle. "Raj, focus on avoiding their attacks. Zircon, let's coordinate our fire." The crew sprang into action, maneuvering the ship to avoid incoming fire from the drones while unleashing their own volleys. Energy beams light the darkness, striking the small ships with precision. One by one, the drones began to falter, their systems disrupted by the Zircon's energy manipulation. The Orion's edge danced through the chaos, avoiding blasts while retaliating with lethal accuracy. "2 drones down," Raj shouted, exhilarated. "Keep it up." "Almost there," the Zircon added, their voice steady. "We will not let them escape." With renewed determination, the crew focused their fire, eliminating the remaining drones and clearing the path to the enemy ship. Mia's heart raced as they drew closer, the tension in the command center palpable. "Prepare to fire," Mia commanded, her voice sharp with focus. "Let's make this count." As they entered the firing range, the enemy ship turned to face them, its weapon systems sparking back to life despite the damage. "They're coming back at us," Raj shouted, alarm bells ringing in his mind. "Hold your fire until I say so," Mia ordered, her mind racing with strategy. "We need to outsmart them, not just overpower them." The enemy ship unleashed its remaining firepower, beams of energy flashing toward them. Mia felt the ship shudder under the impact, alarms blaring as the shields dipped perilously low. "Shields at 5%, Raj shouted, panic creeping into his voice. "We can't take another hit." "Now, fire at their central power core," Mia commanded, urgency surging through her veins. "If we can take out their power, they'll be disabled." Raj fired the weapons, and the energy blast shot through the void, striking the enemy ship's core. There was a moment of silence, and then an explosion rocked the enemy ship, flames bursting from its hull. "Direct hit," Raj exclaimed, his voice a mix of disbelief and excitement. "They're losing power." Mia felt a surge of triumph. "Keep the pressure on, they can't recover from this." But just as the enemy ship seemed to falter, it unleashed one final, desperate attack. A concentrated energy beam, larger and more potent than anything they had seen before, tore through the space between them, striking the Orion's edge with blinding force. The ship shook violently, alarms blaring as systems flickered. Mia struggled to maintain her footing, adrenaline surging through her body. "Shields down! We're losing power," Raj shouted, panic lacing his words. "Divert all power to the engines," Mia commanded, heart pounding in her chest. "We need to get out of here." Raj's fingers moved frantically over the controls, diverting energy to keep the ship moving. "We're still able to maneuver, but it's going to be a struggle." Mia glanced at the monitors, watching as the enemy ship began to drift, its power waning. "We have to finish this," she said, resolve hardening within her. "Ready to fire again," Raj called, determination sparking in his eyes. "Let's do it," Mia shouted, feeling a surge of courage. "For the Zircon and our survival." They unleashed another barrage, targeting the enemy ship's engines this time. The blast struck true, and the enemy vessel erupted. As the energy blast struck the enemy ship, it erupted into a cascade of brilliant colors: reds, oranges, and yellows light the darkness of space. The Orion's edge trembled from the force of their own weaponry, but Mia felt a rush of adrenaline and hope. They were turning the tide of battle. "Direct hits," Raj shouted, his eyes wide with exhilaration. "They're losing stability." "Keep firing. Aim for the central core," Mia commanded, her heart pounding in her chest. The enemy ship was on the verge of collapse, and she could sense their moment of victory was at hand. The crew focused their efforts, unleashing volley after volley of energy blasts, each strike hitting its mark. The enemy vessel shuddered, the hull cracking and sparking, a testament to the damage they had sustained. "Raj, any response from their systems?" Mia asked, her voice sharp with focus. "Not yet. They're still operational, but barely," Raj replied, sweat glistening on his forehead. "We need to keep the pressure on." The Zircon crew worked alongside them, their alien technology interfacing with the ship's systems. "We can amplify our firepower," the lead Zircon said, its voice steady. "Let us channel our energy together." "Do it," Mia urged, feeling the weight of the moment pressing down on her. "Let's finish this." The Zircon began to manipulate their energy, combining it with the Orion's Edge's systems. A hum filled the command center as the ship absorbed the Zircon's power, the energy readings spiking dramatically. "Power levels are increasing," Raj shouted, eyes wide with disbelief. "We can fire a concentrated blast." "Prepare to fire on my mark," Mia commanded, adrenaline surging through her. "Let's show them the strength of our alliance." As the enemy ship struggled to stabilize, its systems flickering, Mia felt a fierce determination rise within her. This was their chance to secure their safety and protect the technology they had fought so hard to safeguard. "Ready," Raj called, fingers hovering over the controls. "Just say the word." "Now," Mia shouted. The Orion's Edge unleashed a massive beam of energy, amplified by the Zircon's assistance. The pulse shot through the void, a brilliant flash that tore through the darkness, striking the enemy ship with overwhelming force. For a moment, everything froze. The brilliance of the blast lit the surrounding space, and then, with a thunderous roar, the enemy ship began to disintegrate. The hull cracked, and flames billowed out as it succumbed to the damage they had inflicted. "Direct hit. They're losing structural integrity," Raj shouted, disbelief flooding his voice. Mia watched, awe mingling with triumph as the enemy vessel began to break apart. The once mighty ship that had posed such a threat was now a glowing wreck, spiraling away into the void of space. "We did it," Raj exclaimed, a wide grin spreading across his face. "We took them down." The command center erupted into cheers, the atmosphere electric with exhilaration. Mia felt a surge of relief wash over her, but she knew they couldn't celebrate just yet. "Stay alert. There may be survivors or other threats nearby." "Monitoring the area now," Raj replied, quickly switching the displays to scan for any other enemy ships or signs of life. "No immediate threats detected." The Zircon crew remained focused, their eyes scanning the monitors for any signs of distress. "We should assess the damage," the lead Zircon said, its voice steady. "Both to our ship and to the remains of the enemy vessel." "Agreed," Mia replied, her mind racing. "Let's do a systems check and see if we can salvage any technology from the wreckage." As the crew began their assessments, Mia took a moment to breathe. The adrenaline was still coursing through her veins, and the reality of what they had accomplished began to sink in. They had faced a formidable enemy and emerged victorious, but at what cost? "Raj, what's the status of our systems?" she asked, turning her attention to the console. "Shields are down to minimal levels, and we've sustained some damage to the hull, but nothing critical," Raj replied, focused on his readouts. "We can still navigate, but we'll need repairs before our next encounter." "Let's make that our priority," Mia said, determination flaring within her. "But we should also look for any intel from the enemy ship. If they were after our technology, we need to know why." The Zircon stepped forward, its eyes glinting with curiosity. "We can scan their systems for any data. There may be remnants of their mission that could explain their actions." "Good idea," Mia replied, grateful for the Zircon's input. "Let's access their systems and see what we can find." The Zircon interfaced with the ship's systems, and the monitors lit up with streams of data. Mia leaned closer, watching as the alien technology began to sift through the remnants of the enemy ship's systems. "It's remarkable how resilient their data storage is," the lead Zircon said, its voice calm. "We should be able to retrieve valuable information." As the Zircon worked, Mia's mind raced with possibilities. What had the enemy wanted? What technology were they after? The questions lingered in her mind, pushing her to find answers. Minutes passed as they retrieved data from the enemy ship's systems. Finally, the Zircon turned to her, eyes filled with urgency. "We have a partial data log. It seems they were part of a larger force. Their mission was to acquire advanced technology from multiple ships in this sector." Mia's heart sank. "So they weren't just after us, they had a bigger agenda." "Yes," the Zircon confirmed, its expression serious. "They mentioned several other vessels, but we need to decrypt the data further to know more." "Do we have the time?" Raj asked, glancing at the displays. "What if their allies are on their way?" Mia felt the weight of the moment. "We have to try. If they're coordinating with others, we need to know who and where they are." "Let's get to work," the Zircon said, fingers flying over the console as it accessed the encrypted data. As they worked, the atmosphere in the command center shifted from celebration to a tense focus. Mia could feel the urgency in the air. They were racing against time. "Decrypting data. Now," the Zircon said, its voice steady. "We should have access within moments." The monitors displayed lines of code, streams of data flooding in. Mia's heart raced as she watched, every second stretching into eternity. She felt the weight of responsibility bearing down on her, but she refused to falter. "Come on," she whispered, urging the Zircon silently. Suddenly, the monitors flickered, and a new window opened. "We have access to their communications," the Zircon announced, eyes shining with determination. "This will provide insight into their network." "Let's see what they were planning," Mia said, leaning closer. The screen filled with lines of text, intercepted messages detailing the enemy's objectives, strategies, and a list of potential targets. "What do you see?" Raj asked, his eyes scanning the data. "There are mentions of several ships in this sector, all marked as potential targets for technology acquisition," the Zircon replied, focusing on the screen. "One of them is marked as high priority, a research vessel with experimental tech." Mia's mind raced. "If we can warn them, we could save them from the same fate we just faced." "Agreed," Raj said, excitement bubbling in his voice. "But we'll need to act fast." "Zircon, can you send a warning to that ship?" Mia asked, urgency driving her words. "If they're already a target, they need to know." "We can attempt to transmit a signal," the Zircon said, determination etched across its features. but it may take some time to establish a secure channel. We don't have time to waste, Mia exclaimed. We need to send the message now. Raj was already at the controls. I'll prepare the transmission. What should we say? Let them know they're targeted by an enemy force and to take evasive action, Mia directed. Include our coordinates and any intel we've gathered. Raj nodded, fingers flying over the controls. Sending the warning now. As they sent the message, Mia felt a sense of urgency that she couldn't shake. What if they were too late? What if the enemy ship was already on its way? Transmission in progress, Raj reported, his eyes flicking between the screens. We should receive a response shortly. The command center was thick with tension as they waited. Mia could feel her heart pounding in her chest, a reminder of the stakes they were facing. Enemy vessels detected, the Zircon called out suddenly, its voice sharp. Multiple ships approaching our location. Mia's breath caught in her throat. How many? 3 confirmed, the Zircon replied, eyes narrowing as it scanned the monitors. They are moving fast. Raj, what's the status of our systems? Mia asked, urgency flooding her voice. Shields are still at minimal levels, Raj replied, panic creeping back into his tone. We can't withstand another full-on assault. Raj, plot a course for the nearest safe sector, Mia commanded, her voice slicing through the tension like a knife. The urgency in her tone seemed to galvanize the crew, and Raj's fingers flew over the controls. Setting coordinates now, but with our current speed and power levels, it'll take time to reach safety, he replied, a hint of worry creeping into his voice. We don't have time to waste, Mia's mind raced as she considered their options. We need to make it harder for them to track us. Can we use any of the debris from the enemy ship to cover our escape? Raj's eyes lit up with a sudden realization. Yes, if we can create a debris field, it might mask our signature. We could use their own wreckage against them. The lead Zircon nodded, its expression determined. We will assist in manipulating the energy to enhance the debris cloud. Together, we can create a more effective cover. Let's do it, Mia shouted, adrenaline surging through her as they worked in unison. The Zircon interfaced with the ship's systems, and a wave of energy flowed from them, linking with the Orion's edge. Raj, divert what's left of our energy into the thrusters, Mia instructed. We need to move while we create the debris field. Diverting energy now, Raj responded, sweat beading on his forehead as he struggled to keep the system stable. The ship jolted slightly as they redirected power, but Mia could feel the engines roaring to life beneath her feet. As they began to maneuver toward the wreckage of the enemy ship, the Zircon focused their energy, amplifying the ship's output. We will destabilize the wreckage and send it scattering into the void, the lead Zircon said, its voice calm amidst the chaos. Do it, Mia ordered, her heart pounding in rhythm with the ship's engines. The monitors lit up as the Zircon manipulated the remnants of the enemy vessel. With a burst of energy, debris from the destroyed ship broke apart, sending fragments flying into space. Debris field generated, the Zircon announced, eyes gleaming with determination. It will provide adequate cover for our escape. Raj, how much longer until we can jump to hyperspace? Mia asked, glancing at the displays. About 5 minutes. We just need to stay out of their targeting range, Raj replied, his voice tinged with urgency. Mia felt the ship shudder as they neared the wreckage. Get us close to the debris and prepare for evasive maneuvers. They'll be coming for us. The Orion's edge glided into the swirling mass of wreckage, and Mia could see the enemy ships on the monitors, closing in fast. Her heart raced as she monitored their movements, calculating their trajectories. Enemy vessels detected, the Zircon called out, urgency coloring its tone. They are entering firing range. Raj, engage evasive maneuvers, Mia shouted, her voice steady despite the chaos. Raj jerked the controls, and the ship lurched to the side, narrowly avoiding an incoming energy blast. The command center filled with the sound of alarms, and the ship shuddered as they danced through the debris. Shields holding at 2%, Raj reported, panic creeping back into his voice. We can't take another hit. Keep us moving, Mia yelled, feeling the weight of responsibility press down on her. We need to buy time until we can jump. As the enemy ships fired again, Mia's heart raced, each explosion echoing in her ears. They dodged between the fragments of the enemy vessel, using the debris as cover, but she could see the enemy vessels adjusting their tactics, trying to anticipate their movements. Raj, can you create a distraction? Mia asked, desperation creeping into her tone. Maybe, if I overload one of our weapon systems, we could create a false explosion to draw their fire, he suggested, a glimmer of hope in his eyes. Do it, Mia urged. Anything to keep them off us for a moment longer. Raj's fingers danced over the controls, his focus intense. Overloading weapon system, now. The ship shuddered violently as Raj initiated the overload, a bright flash erupting from one of their weapon turrets. The energy burst light the darkness, drawing the enemy's attention. Enemy ships are turning toward the explosion, the Zircon shouted, its voice tinged with excitement. Now is our chance. Go! Plot the jump coordinates, Mia commanded, her pulse racing as they seized the moment. Raj worked furiously, entering the calculations for hyperspace. Almost there, just a few more seconds. The enemy ships adjusted, their attention drawn away from the Orion's edge, but Mia could see them regrouping, readying for another assault. Raj, we need to jump now, she urged, her heart pounding. Coordinates locked, engaging hyperspace, he shouted, his fingers slamming down on the controls. The ship lurched forward, and the familiar surge of energy enveloped them as they activated the jump. The stars outside blurred, elongating into streaks of light as they accelerated into hyperspace. For a moment, they were enveloped in silence, the chaos of battle fading behind them. Mia closed her eyes, allowing herself to breathe deeply. They had made it at least for now. Status report, she called, opening her eyes and scanning the command center. Shields are down, and we sustained some hull damage, but we're stable, Raj reported, relief flooding his voice. We should be safe for the moment. The Zircon nodded, its expression serious. We must assess our damage and prepare for potential threats. We cannot let our guard down. Agreed, Mia said, her mind racing with thoughts of their next steps. Let's analyze the data we recovered and determine our next course of action. The Zircon interfaced with the ship's systems, pulling up the data they had gathered from the enemy ship. The command center buzzed with tension as they began to sift through the information. Decrypting the intel, now, the Zircon said, focusing intently. The screens filled with data streams, lines of code flowing like water. Mia's heart raced as she watched, each moment feeling like an eternity. They needed answers, and fast. Any sign of the enemy following us? Raj asked, glancing at the monitors. Not yet, but we should remain vigilant, Mia replied, her mind focused on the task ahead. After what felt like an eternity, the Zircon turned to them, its expression serious. We have decrypted the data. The enemy forces are part of a larger faction, known as the Consortium. They seek advanced technology to expand their power. Consortium, Mia echoed, the name sending a chill down her spine. What else do they want? The data suggests they are targeting specific vessels with cutting-edge technology, the Zircon explained. If they succeeded in acquiring this tech, they would pose a significant threat to the galaxy. Raj's eyes widened. Then we have to warn the other ships. We can't let them become targets. Yes, Mia agreed, determination surging within her. We need to find a way to communicate with them, gather allies, and formulate a plan to counter the Consortium's ambitions. The Zircon nodded. There is a safe sector nearby. We can reach it quickly and establish a communication link with other ships. Let's set a course, Mia said, her resolve hardening. We need to act fast before the Consortium can regroup and launch another attack. As they adjusted their trajectory, Mia couldn't shake the feeling of impending danger. The battle they had just fought was only the beginning. The consortium was out there, and they would stop at nothing to achieve their goals. Raj, keep scanning for any incoming threats, Mia instructed, her heart pounding as they navigated through hyperspace. On it, he replied, eyes glued to the monitors. The Zircon began to prepare the communication systems, its focus unwavering. We will need to establish secure channels to warn other vessels. Their safety may depend on our actions. As the ship surged through hyperspace, Mia's mind raced with the possibilities. She felt the weight of responsibility resting on her shoulders, but she also felt a fierce determination to protect not only her crew, but the galaxy at large. Approaching safe sector, Raj announced, his voice steady. Entering normal space in 3, 2, 1. The Orion's edge lurched as they exited hyperspace, the vastness of the galaxy stretching before them. Stars twinkled in the distance, a sea of possibilities. Scan for other ships, Mia commanded, her heart racing as they took in their surroundings. Raj's fingers danced over the controls, and the monitors displayed a flurry of data. We've detected several vessels in the area, but we need to establish contact. Zircon, can you initiate communication with them? Mia asked, her gaze fixed on the screen. Yes, we will establish secure channels, the lead Zircon said, its eyes focused. This will take a moment. As the Zircon worked, Mia's heart pounded in her chest. Time felt like it was slipping away, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the consortium was already on their tail. Come on, she whispered, urging the Zircon silently. The monitor flickered to life, displaying a grainy image of a ship's captain, a rugged figure with sharp features and a weary expression. This is Captain Alara of the Starlight Fury. We're receiving your distress signal. What's the situation? Mia stepped forward, urgency flooding her voice. Captain Alara, we've encountered hostile forces and organization known as the Consortium. They're targeting advanced technology across the sector, and we believe they may already be on their way to your position. Captain Alara's brow furrowed, and she leaned closer to the screen. The Consortium? We've heard whispers, but we didn't think they would come this far. How many ships are they deploying? 3 confirmed vessels, heavily armed, Mia replied, her heart racing. They just attacked us, and we barely escaped. If you have advanced technology on board, you could be next on their list. Alara's expression hardened. We're outfitted with experimental weaponry. We'll need to move quickly. Do you have a plan? Yes, Mia said, her mind racing. We need to warn the other ships in this sector and coordinate our defenses. If we can gather more allies, we can mount a counteroffensive against the Consortium. Captain Alara nodded, her eyes narrowing in determination. Agreed. I'll transmit your warning to all nearby vessels. We may also have some intel that could help us understand their tactics. Excellent, Mia replied, her pulse quickening at the prospect of collaboration. Let's act fast. The Consortium won't waste time now that they know we're aware of their plans. The screen flickered again as Alara accessed her ship's systems. I'll send out the alert. In the meantime, can you provide any details on their ships or weaponry? We can, Mia said, glancing at the Zircon, who was still interfacing with the ship's systems. We retrieved some data from one of the enemy vessels. Our Zircon allies can help us analyze it further. Good. I'll keep my crew on high alert. If we're going to face them, we need to be prepared, Alara replied. Stay safe, Captain. We'll be in touch, Mia said, feeling a sense of hope swell within her. It was a small but significant step toward building the alliances they desperately needed. The communication cut off, and Mia turned to the Zircon. How's the analysis of the enemy data coming along? It's ongoing, the Zircon responded, its expression focused. We should have a comprehensive understanding of their capabilities shortly. Raj, maintain contact with the other ships, Mia instructed. We need to ensure everyone is aware of the threat and coordinate our strategies. On it, Raj replied, his fingers flying over the controls. I'll relay our findings and status updates as we get them. As the crew worked, Mia felt a surge of determination. They had faced insurmountable odds, but now they had allies. With Captain Alara's ship joining their cause, they could potentially turn the tide against the consortium. Minutes passed, and the Zircon's voice broke through her thoughts. We have completed the analysis of the enemy data. The consortium ships are equipped with advanced energy weapons and shielding technology. Their tactics suggest they will attempt to overwhelm us with sheer numbers and firepower. Any weaknesses? Mia asked, leaning in closer. While their ships are formidable, their reliance on coordinated strikes leaves them vulnerable to disruption, the Zircon explained. If we can create confusion in their ranks, we may exploit openings in their defenses. Mia's mind raced. So, we can use hit-and-run tactics to divide their forces and take them out one by one. It won't be easy, but it might give us a fighting chance. Agreed, the Zircon replied. We should also exploit our allies' strengths. Captain Alara's ship may have technology we can leverage. Let's reach out to her and see what she's got, Mia suggested. We can combine our resources. Raj, still focused on the controls, spoke up. I'm getting some incoming communications from other vessels in the sector. They're responding to Captain Alara's warning. Patch them through, Mia ordered, her heart racing. The monitor flickered again, showing a diverse array of ship captains. One was a stout, middle-aged woman with a fierce gaze. This is Captain Vera of the Celestial Wing. I've received word from Alara. What's our game plan? Mia stepped forward, feeling a surge of leadership. We need to coordinate our defenses against the consortium. They're targeting advanced technology, and if we band together, we have a chance to protect our ships and tech. Captain Vera nodded. We've been operating on the outskirts, but we can't ignore the threat. Our ship is equipped with stealth technology. We can position ourselves near the consortium's routes and gather intel. Excellent, Mia replied, feeling the excitement grow. If we can stay hidden, we can relay their movements back to the main fleet. We'll need eyes on their approach. Another captain chimed in, a tall man with a scruffy beard. This is Captain Jerk of the Iron Defender. We're armed to the teeth. If we can draw them into an ambush, we could level the playing field. Mia felt a wave of hope wash over her. That's the spirit. We can split our forces, creating a trap. While some of us gather intel, others can lie in wait to take them down when they least expect it. Let's do it, Captain Vera said. We'll relay the plan to our crews and prepare for action. Agreed, Captain Jerk added. Time to show the consortium that we won't be easy prey. As they finalized their plans, Mia felt a sense of camaraderie begin to form among the captains. This wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about standing up against a threat that loomed over them all. Keep me updated on your progress, Mia instructed, her voice firm. Let's reconvene in 1 hour to compare intel and adjust our strategies. The captains nodded in agreement, and the communication ended. Mia turned to her crew, feeling a surge of determination. We have allies now. It's time to prepare for what's ahead. Raj's fingers danced over the controls. I'm analyzing the consortium's likely movements based on the data we have. They may attempt to regroup before launching another attack. Zircon, can we enhance our scanners to pick up their signatures from a distance? Mia asked. Yes, we can adjust our systems for optimal detection, the Zircon replied, its voice steady. We will implement the changes immediately. As the crew worked to prepare, Mia felt the weight of responsibility pressing down on her. They were no longer just a small crew trying to survive. They were part of something larger now, a coalition fighting against a common enemy. Raj, keep an eye on our power levels, Mia instructed. We need to ensure we're ready for whatever comes next. Power levels are stable, but we'll need to manage our resources carefully, Raj replied. If we engage the consortium again, we can't afford to be caught off guard. With each passing moment, Mia felt the tension building. They were on the brink of a confrontation that could determine the fate of many. All right, crew, Mia said, her voice steady. We've faced tough odds before, But this is different. We're not alone anymore. Together, we can fight back against the consortium and protect everything we hold dear." The crew nodded, their expressions a mix of determination and resolve. Mia felt a rush of pride at their strength, knowing they were all in this together. As they prepared for the next phase of their plan, Mia's thoughts turned to the battles that lay ahead. She couldn't help but wonder if they had the strength to face the consortium, and if they would emerge victorious. "Zircon, are we ready to scan for incoming ships?" Mia asked, her focus returning to the task at hand. "Scanning now," the Zircon confirmed, its eyes narrowing in concentration. "We will be able to detect any approaching vessels shortly." The minutes dragged on as they awaited the results, each second feeling like a lifetime. The weight of responsibility hung heavy in the air, but Mia felt a fierce determination coursing through her veins. Finally, the Zircon's voice broke the silence. "Incoming ships detected. Multiple signatures approaching from the east." Mia's heart raced. "What's the status of their technology? Are they using cloaking or stealth systems?" "Negative," the Zircon replied, its expression serious. "They are moving information, suggesting they are prepared for a coordinated attack." "All right, crew, prepare for engagement," Mia shouted, adrenaline surging through her. "We need to make sure we're ready for whatever they throw at us." Raj nodded, his fingers flying over the controls. "We can set up our defenses and prepare for evasive maneuvers." The ship hummed with energy as they readied themselves for the confrontation. Mia felt the weight of the moment settle over her, knowing that they were about to face one of the greatest challenges of their lives. As the consortium ships drew nearer, Mia's mind raced with thoughts of strategy. They needed to create confusion among the enemy ranks, using their numbers against them. "Zircon, can we amplify our weapons for maximum impact?" Mia asked, her heart pounding. "We can amplify our weapons for maximum impact," the Zircon finished, its voice steady. "However, it will require a significant drain on our energy reserves." "Do it," Mia commanded without hesitation, feeling the weight of leadership settle on her shoulders. "We need every advantage we can get." Raj's fingers flew over the controls as he engaged the weapon systems, and the ship shuddered slightly with a surge of power. "Weapons are charged and ready. Just say the word, and we can fire at will." "Everyone, take your positions," Mia shouted, adrenaline coursing through her veins. She felt a mix of fear and excitement as the impending confrontation loomed. "Zircon, stay connected to our sensors. We need real-time updates on the enemy's movements." The Zircon nodded, its eyes glowing as it interfaced with the ship's systems. "I will relay any changes immediately." As the seconds ticked away, Mia's heart raced. The sight of the incoming consortium ships filled the monitors, their dark silhouettes ominous against the backdrop of stars. They were moving information, a well-oiled machine ready to strike. "Raj, what's the distance to the enemy?" Mia asked, keeping her voice steady. "Approximately 2,000 kilometers and closing fast," he replied, his brow furrowed in concentration. "They'll be within firing range in under a minute." "Prepare to engage evasive maneuvers," Mia instructed. "We can't let them catch us off guard." "Evasive maneuvers ready," Raj confirmed, his fingers poised over the controls. As the enemy ships continued their approach, Mia took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing thoughts. This was it, the moment they had prepared for. She glanced at her crew, each of them focused and resolute, ready to face the challenge ahead. "Let's make this count," she said, her voice firm. "We're fighting for our survival and for everyone who stands against the consortium." The Zircon's expression was serious. "We must focus our fire on their lead ship. Disrupting their formation will create openings for our allies." "Agreed." "Raj, lock onto their lead ship and prepare to fire," Mia commanded, her heart pounding in anticipation. "Locked on," Raj replied, his voice steady. "On your mark." Mia's gaze remained fixed on the screen as the distance between them closed. She could see the enemy ship's weapon systems powering up, energy crackling in anticipation of the battle to come. "Now!" Mia shouted, her voice echoing in the command center. Raj pressed the button, and the Orion's edge shuddered as a beam of energy shot toward the lead consortium ship. The blast struck true, light the darkness of space as it collided with the enemy's shields. "Direct hit," Raj called out, excitement mingling with tension. "Their shields are weakening." "Focus fire, Zircon. Amplify our energy weapons to full power," Mia commanded, her heart racing. The Zircon worked quickly, enhancing the ship's weapon systems. "Amplifying now. Prepare for another barrage." The consortium ships began to return fire, energy blast hurtling toward them. Mia's breath caught in her throat as she watched the incoming projectiles on the monitor. "Evasive maneuvers. Raj, divert power to shields," Mia shouted. The ship lurched as Raj adjusted their trajectory, narrowly avoiding an energy blast that lit up the darkness. "Shields holding at 50%. Keep them steady. We need to hold out until we can take down their lead ship," Mia urged, determination flooding her voice. As the crew worked tirelessly, the atmosphere in the command center crackled with tension. Mia felt the weight of responsibility bearing down on her. Lives depended on their actions, and she wouldn't let them down. "Enemy ships are regrouping," the Zircon announced, its voice tinged with urgency. "They're preparing to flank us." "Raj, prepare to fire on the right flank," Mia commanded, her heart racing as the enemy ships moved in. "Ready to engage," he replied, sweat beading on his forehead as he monitored the controls. "Now," Mia shouted again, her voice cutting through the chaos. Raj unleashed another volley of energy, and the blast tore through the enemy formation. One of the consortium ships shuddered under the assault, its shields flickering as they struggled to hold up against the onslaught. "Keep the pressure on. We need to break their formation," Mia urged, adrenaline coursing through her. The Zircon worked in tandem with Raj, amplifying their weapon systems with each passing moment. "We can disable their lead ship. If we destroy their command vessel, it will cause confusion among the others." "Then let's do it," Mia shouted, her resolve hardening. "Focus all fire on the lead ship." Raj locked onto their target, his fingers deftly navigating the controls. "Firing now." The beam of energy shot forth, striking the lead ship dead center. The explosion lit up the void, and Mia felt a surge of triumph as they watched the enemy vessel shudder, its shields failing. "Direct hit. Their lead ship is losing power," Raj called out, excitement breaking through the tension. "Zircon, can we enhance our weapon output for one more shot?" Mia asked, her heart racing. "Yes, but it will require a substantial drain on our energy reserves," the Zircon replied, its voice steady. "Do it. We need to take them down now," Mia commanded, her voice unwavering. The Zircon interfaced with the ship's systems, and Mia felt the ship tremble as they diverted power to the weapons. The energy built up, crackling in anticipation of the next strike. "Ready, now," Raj shouted. The beam of energy shot forward once again, striking the lead consortium ship with a force that rippled through space. The ship erupted in a blaze of light, its destruction sending shockwaves through the remaining enemy vessels. "Lead ship destroyed," Raj exclaimed, exhilaration bubbling up as they watched the chaos unfold. The remaining consortium ships began to scatter, their formation breaking apart in confusion. "They're regrouping. We can't let them escape," Mia shouted, determination surging within her. "Zircon, can we enhance our scanners to track their movements?" she asked. "Yes, I will adjust our systems," the Zircon replied, its focus unwavering. "We can determine their escape routes." "Raj, keep our shields up and prepare for another round of fire," Mia instructed, her eyes scanning the chaos on the monitors. As they continued to engage the remaining ships, Mia felt a surge of hope. They had dealt a significant blow to the consortium, but she knew this battle was far from over. "Captain Vera, Captain Jarek status report," Mia called out over the communications link. "Celestial Wing is in position. We're ready to support your next move," Captain Vera replied, her voice resolute. Iron Defender is prepared for the final push. We'll flank their remaining ships, Captain Jerk added, excitement evident in his tone. Let's do it together. We'll corner them and finish this, Mia commanded, feeling the adrenaline pulse through her veins. As they coordinated their movements, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the cusp of a decisive victory. The consortium had underestimated their resolve, and now they would pay the price. Raj, are our weapons charged? Mia asked, her heart racing. Fully charged and ready, he replied, his eyes gleaming with determination. Zircon, let's amplify our energy for one final strike, Mia urged, feeling the thrill of the moment. Yes, enhancing weapon systems now, the Zircon confirmed, its focus unwavering. As the remaining consortium ships regrouped, Mia felt a rush of determination. They had fought hard, and now they would finish what they had started. Let's show them what we're made of, Mia shouted, her voice echoing through the command center. On my mark, Raj replied, adrenaline surging as he prepared to fire. The consortium ships were disorganized, and Mia could see their panic on the monitors. Now, fire! The Orion's Edge unleashed a final barrage of energy, and the blast tore through the remaining enemy ships. The chaos and confusion were palpable as the consortium vessels began to fall one by one. Mia felt a rush of triumph as she watched their enemies crumble. Yes, keep it up, she urged, her heart pounding in her chest. Enemy ships are retreating, the Zircon announced, its voice tinged with excitement. They cannot withstand our combined force. Let them run, Mia called out, her heart racing with exhilaration. We've won this round. As the dust settled and the remnants of the consortium ships faded into the distance, Mia turned to her crew, a wide smile breaking across her face. We did it. We stood our ground and fought back. Cheers erupted in the command center, the crew celebrating their hard-fought victory. Mia felt a swell of pride as she looked around, knowing they had come together in the face of overwhelming odds. Captain Alara, how are you holding up? Mia asked, reaching out to their ally. Starlight Fury is intact, thanks to your support. We'll need to regroup and assess our damage, but we've survived, Alara replied, relief evident in her voice. The celebration aboard the Orion's Edge was electric, but Mia knew that the fight was far from over. The victory over the consortium was a significant blow, but the remnants of the enemy fleet were still lurking in the shadows. They had to remain vigilant. Raj, what's the status of our systems? Mia asked, stepping away from the gathering crew, her voice steady amidst the celebration. Shields are down to 30%, and weapon systems are recharging, Raj replied, his expression serious. We need time to recover before we can engage again. Understood, Mia said, nodding. Let's ensure we have a full analysis of the data we gathered from this encounter. The consortium won't take this defeat lightly. They'll be back. The crew gradually settled down, the cheers and laughter giving way to the reality of their situation. Mia looked around at her team, their faces a mix of exhaustion and triumph. They had fought valiantly, and now they needed to prepare for what came next. Zircon, how's our intel analysis coming along? Mia asked, turning her attention to the alien. It is ongoing. However, I have started to identify patterns in their communication that may reveal strategic weaknesses, the Zircon replied, its expression focused. If we can intercept their signals, we may gain insight into their future movements. Perfect. We need to be one step ahead of them, Mia said, feeling a sense of urgency wash over her. Let's prioritize that data. As the Zircon worked, Mia took a moment to gather her thoughts. The victory felt monumental, but it was a temporary reprieve. The consortium would regroup, and she needed to ensure that they were ready for whatever came next. Raj, send a status report to Captain Alara and the other ships, Mia instructed. Let them know our condition and our next steps. On it, Raj replied, his fingers dancing over the controls as he composed the message. Mia glanced at the monitor, watching as their allies' ships came into view, the Celestial Wing and the Iron Defender closing in. The sight filled her with relief. They were not alone in this fight. Communication established with Captain Alara, Raj announced. Shall I patch it through? Absolutely, Mia replied, taking a deep breath. Let's hear what they have to say. The screen flickered to life, revealing Captain Alara, her expression serious yet relieved. Mia, congratulations on the victory. Your strategy was effective, and your crew showed remarkable bravery. Thank you, Captain, Mia replied, gratitude flooding her voice. We couldn't have done it without your support. How are your systems holding up? Minor damage, but nothing we can't manage, Ilara responded. We need to regroup and strategize. The consortium is likely already planning their next move. Exactly. We need to analyze our data and determine their weaknesses before they strike again, Mia said, her mind racing with possibilities. Agreed. Let's rendezvous at the designated safe sector. We can assess our damages and gather intel there, Ilara suggested. Sounds good. We'll be there shortly, Mia replied, feeling a sense of purpose. Let's meet up with Captain Vera and Captain Jerk as well. We need all hands on deck for this. Understood. We'll see you soon, Ilara said, the screen flickering as the connection ended. Mia turned to her crew, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. All right, everyone, we're heading to the safe sector to regroup with our allies. Keep an eye on our sensors and prepare for any incoming signals from the consortium. Raj nodded, his focus shifting back to the controls. I'll monitor all communications and ensure we're ready for anything. As they navigated toward the safe sector, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that they were still on the precipice of danger. The consortium wouldn't let their defeat go unpunished. She could feel it in her bones. After a brief journey, they arrived at the safe sector, a desolate expanse of space that felt strangely comforting. Nearby ships floated, their crews visibly engaged in their own preparations. Mia stepped onto the bridge, the hum of activity surrounding her. Let's conduct a full systems check before we meet with the other captains, she instructed. We need to ensure we're fully operational. Conducting systems check now, Raj replied, his fingers flying over the controls. Shields are recharging, and weapon systems will be fully operational in a few minutes. Good. Let's make sure we're ready, Mia said, her gaze sweeping over the crew as they worked. I want everyone focused. The next steps we take could determine the fate of not just us, but all our allies. As the systems check continued, Mia felt the weight of responsibility settle heavily on her shoulders. She was no longer just a pilot. She was a leader, and the choices she made would have consequences. Zirkin, how's the intel coming along? She asked, turning her attention back to their ally. I have isolated several communications from the consortium, the Zirkin replied, its voice steady. There are indications of a regrouping at a nearby staging area. They are likely planning a counteroffensive. Do we have the coordinates? Mia asked, her pulse quickening. Yes, I will transmit them now, the Zirkin said, its eyes glowing as it interfaced with the ship's systems. Raj, can you pull up the coordinates? Mia instructed. On screen, Raj replied, and the monitor displayed a star map with the consortium's staging area marked clearly. All right, Mia said, her mind racing. This could be our chance to strike first. If we can disrupt their plans before they fully regroup, we might prevent them from launching another attack. Captain, we need to consider the risks, Raj cautioned. If they are regrouping, they'll be preparing for a larger offensive. We may be walking into a trap. I understand, but we can't afford to be passive, Mia replied, her voice firm. We've shown that we can fight back, and we need to capitalize on that momentum. Let's discuss our options with the other captains. Communications are established, Raj announced, and the screen flickered to life once again, displaying Captain Alara and the other captains. Everyone, we've received intel on the consortium's movements, Mia began, her voice steady. They're regrouping at a nearby staging area. If we act quickly, we can disrupt their plans and prevent them from launching another offensive. Alara's expression turned serious. That's a bold move. What are you proposing? I believe we should split our forces, Mia explained. We can create diversions while a smaller team attempts to infiltrate their staging area and gather intelligence on their plans. If we can do that, we can strike a decisive blow against them. Captain Vera nodded, her brow furrowed in thought. It's risky, but it could pay off. We need to know what they're planning before they launch another attack. Exactly, Mia replied, feeling a surge of determination. We have to act fast. If we wait too long, they could reinforce their defenses. Captain Jerk leaned in, his expression serious. How do you propose we split our forces? We can send a smaller group to infiltrate while the rest of us create distractions, Mia suggested. I'll lead the infiltration team. The rest of you can engage their forces directly to draw their attention away from us. Count me in, Captain Vera said, her voice resolute. I'll provide cover fire for your team. Agreed, Ilara added. We'll work together to ensure your success. Mia felt a rush of gratitude for her allies. They were united in their determination to fight back against the consortium, and together they could make a difference. All right, let's finalize our plan, Mia said, her heart racing. We'll need to coordinate our movements carefully to ensure we don't compromise the mission. Raj, prepare to relay our plans to the crews. On it, Raj replied, his fingers already moving over the controls. As they worked to finalize their strategy, Mia felt a sense of resolve wash over her. They had faced adversity before, but this was different. This time, they were not just fighting for survival, they were fighting to reclaim their future. The atmosphere aboard the Orion's Edge shifted from celebratory to focused as the crew prepared for the upcoming mission. Mia gathered her team in the command center, the weight of their objective palpable in the air. Listen up, everyone, she began, her voice steady. We're about to head into a potentially dangerous situation. The consortium has regrouped, and we need to move swiftly and strategically. Raj nodded, his expression serious. Our intel suggests that their staging area is heavily guarded. We'll need to be cautious. Mia looked around at her crew, seeing determination in their eyes. We have a plan, and we're going to execute it flawlessly. Remember, our objective is to gather intel and disrupt their operations, not to engage in a prolonged battle. Understood, the Zircon said, its voice calm. We will focus on gathering information and avoid unnecessary confrontations. Mia felt a sense of confidence wash over her. They were prepared, and they had a strong team backing them up. Let's move out. We'll rendezvous with Captain Vera and the others at the designated point before we approach the staging area. The Orion's Edge surged forward, slicing through the darkness of space with purpose. Mia stood at the helm, her heart racing as she glanced at the star map flickering on the main screen. The coordinates they had plotted glowed ominously, marking the consortium's staging area. Raj, how far until we reach the staging coordinates? Mia asked, her voice steady despite the tension simmering beneath the surface. Approximately 10 minutes, Captain, Raj replied, his focus unwavering as he navigated through the void. Shields are fully charged, and weapon systems are at optimal levels. We're ready for whatever comes our way. Good. Stay sharp, everyone. We're entering hostile territory, Mia said, her mind running through the plan they had crafted with their allies. Zircon, keep monitoring enemy communications. We need to stay one step ahead. Affirmative. I will scan for any fluctuations in their communications, the Zircon replied, its eyes glowing as it interfaced with the ship's systems. As the countdown continued, Mia felt the weight of her decision pressing down on her. The risks were high, but the potential rewards could turn the tide in their favor. They had already faced one battle, and the thought of taking the fight to the consortium fueled her resolve. Captain, incoming transmission from Captain Ilara, Raj announced, breaking the silence. Put her through, Mia said, her heart racing. The screen flickered to life, revealing Captain Ilara's determined expression. Mia, we're in position, ready to create distractions as planned. Just give us the signal when you're close enough. Understood, Ilara. We'll signal you when we're nearing the staging area. Stay vigilant once we engage. The consortium will be on high alert, Mia replied. Copy that. We're prepared to make some noise, Alara said, a fierce glint in her eyes. Let's disrupt their operations and show them what we're made of. As the transmission ended, Mia turned to her crew, feeling a surge of adrenaline. All right, team. This is it. We're going to make our move and gather the intel we need. Raj, plot our course for stealth approach. Course plotted, Raj confirmed, adjusting the controls. We'll remain out of their sensor range until we're directly above the staging area. Good. Zircon, once we're in position, I need you to interface with their systems and gather any intel you can find. Focus on command protocols and any upcoming operations they might be planning, Mia instructed. Understood. I will ensure we have access to their communications, the Zircon replied, its expression focused. Mia took a deep breath, the anticipation thick in the air. They were close, so close to making a real difference in this war. She could feel the weight of her crew's trust resting on her shoulders, and she was determined not to let them down. The minutes ticked by, each one feeling like an eternity. As they neared the staging area, the tension on the bridge was palpable. Crew members moved with precision, their focus unwavering. Entering the staging area coordinates now, Raj announced, adjusting to a stealth mode. Sensors are picking up multiple consortium ships. Looks like they've set up a temporary base. Zircon, can you identify their ship types and numbers? Mia asked, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Scanning now, the Zircon replied, its eyes narrowing as it analyzed the data. There are at least 5 ships, along with ground installations. Their defenses appear robust, but not impenetrable. Perfect. We need to exploit any weaknesses, Mia said, her mind racing as she considered their options. Raj, keep our sensors active. We need to know their movements at all times. Roger that, Raj replied, his fingers dancing over the controls. All right, we're ready to deploy, Mia said, feeling a surge of determination. Zircon, prepare to interface with their systems as soon as we're in range. The ship glided silently toward the heart of the staging area, the darkness of space providing a cloak of invisibility. Mia's heart pounded as she peered at the monitors, each detail feeding her anticipation. Okay, we're in position. Zircon, initiate interface, Mia commanded, her voice firm. The Zircon nodded and connected with the ship's systems, its eyes glowing with energy. Establishing link, I have access to their communications network, it announced. Mia leaned closer to the monitor, her pulse racing as data streamed across the screen. What do you see? There are discussions regarding troop movements and a planned offensive against our allied forces. They are mobilizing resources quickly, the Zircon replied, its tone urgent. If we can disrupt their operations now, we can significantly weaken their upcoming attack. Can you download any of that information? Mia pressed, her heart racing at the thought of gaining critical intel. Downloading now. It will take a few moments, the Zircon said, its focus intense. Raj, keep an eye on our surroundings. I don't want us to be caught off guard, Mia instructed, her eyes scanning the monitors for any signs of danger. On it. No movement detected from the consortium ships so far, Raj replied, tension lacing his voice. The seconds felt like hours as the Zircon worked, its energy crackling as it accessed the enemy's systems. Mia felt a knot of anxiety forming in her stomach. They were in a precarious position. Almost there, the Zircon said, its expression serious. Just a few more moments. Suddenly, alarms blared on the ship, breaking through the tension. What's happening? Mia shouted, her heart racing. Sensor alert! One of the consortium ships is detecting our presence, Raj exclaimed, his fingers flying over the controls. We've been compromised. Zircon, how much longer? Mia pressed, adrenaline surging. Downloading data now, but we must prepare for evasive maneuvers, the Zircon replied, urgency in its voice. Raj, prepare to engage evasive maneuvers. Get us out of here, Mia commanded, her mind racing. They needed to retreat before the situation escalated. The ship lurched as Raj took control, veering away from the staging area. The tension in the air was thick as they raced to escape the impending threat. Mia could see the consortium ship moving to intercept them, weapons powering up. "Shields holding at 70%, Raj called out, his focus unwavering. "But they're gaining on us." "Zirkin, did you manage to get the data?" Mia shouted, her heart pounding. "Data is secured. We have vital intel on their operations," the Zirkin replied, its voice steady despite the chaos. "But we must act quickly to escape." "All right, Raj, we need to buy ourselves some time," Mia said, determination flooding her voice. "Divert power to our rear shields and prepare to fire on their lead ship." "Diverting power now, targeting the lead ship," Raj responded, adrenaline coursing through him. Mia felt a surge of adrenaline as she took a deep breath. "Now, fire." The Orion's edge shuddered as it unleashed a barrage of energy at the lead consortium ship. The blast struck true, light the darkness as the enemy vessel rocked under the assault. "Direct hit, their shields are weakening," Raj called out, excitement lacing his voice. "Keep the pressure on, we can't let them regroup," Mia shouted, feeling a rush of exhilaration. The consortium ship retaliated, energy blasts flying toward them. Mia's heart raced as she watched the incoming projectiles on the monitor. "Evasive maneuvers," she ordered, adrenaline surging as Raj deftly maneuvered the ship, narrowly avoiding the blasts. "Shields holding at 50%, he reported, his brow furrowed in concentration. Mia could feel the tension in the air, the weight of their predicament pressing down on her. They had secured the intel, but now they had to escape. "Zirkin, can you access their communications? We need to know what they're planning," Mia said, her mind racing. "Attempting to gain access now," the Zirkin replied, its eyes glowing as it interfaced with the enemy's systems once more. "I will try to disrupt their communications as well." "Perfect. Raj, keep firing on that lead ship. We need to create chaos in their ranks," Mia commanded, her pulse quickening. As Raj unleashed another volley of energy, the consortium ship shuddered, its shields flickering dangerously. Mia felt a rush of hope. They could turn this around. "Captain, the enemy is regrouping. They're launching their fighters," Raj shouted, urgency filling his voice. "Prepare for incoming fire," Mia commanded, her heart racing as she braced for impact. "Zirkin, how much longer?" "Communications are almost compromised. I will have access shortly," the Zirkin replied, its focus unwavering. Mia watched as the consortium fighters swarmed toward them, their weapons powering up. "Raj, engage evasive maneuvers. We can't let them pin us down." The ship lurched as Raj maneuvered them, dodging incoming fire as they raced through the chaos. Mia's heart pounded in her chest. They were fighting for their lives. Mia's heart raced as she steadied herself at the helm, the chaos of the battle around them swirling like a tempest. Consortium fighters swarmed toward the Orion's edge, their energy weapons crackling with lethal intent. The ship rocked as energy blasts struck their shields, sending jolts of tension through the crew. "Raj, how are the shields holding?" Mia called, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Down to 40%, Raj replied, his brow furrowed with concentration. "But they're managing to breach our defenses. We need to take out those fighters fast." Mia's pulse quickened. "Zirkin, any progress on disrupting their communications?" "Accessing now," the Zirkin replied, its eyes glowing brightly as it focused on the enemy systems. "I believe I can send a signal to confuse their targeting systems." "Do it. We need every advantage we can get," Mia urged, adrenaline surging through her veins. "Raj, prepare to target the fighters." As Raj adjusted their targeting systems, Mia took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. The stakes were higher than ever, and they needed to act quickly. "Fighters approaching! Incoming fire!" Raj shouted, and Mia felt the ship shudder as energy blasts peppered the hull. "Evasive maneuvers, Zirkin, now!" Mia commanded, determination driving her forward. "Sending signal," the Zircon announced, its voice steady. "Targeting systems should be disoriented momentarily." "Let's hope it works," Mia muttered, gripping the controls tightly. "Raj, fire on those fighters." The Orion's Edge unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, striking true as several enemy fighters were torn apart, their debris scattering across the void. Mia felt a rush of exhilaration as she watched the explosions light up the darkness. "Direct hits, but they're still coming," Raj reported, urgency lacing his voice. "Keep firing, we can't let up now," Mia shouted, her focus unwavering. She could feel the weight of her crew's trust pressing on her shoulders, and she was determined not to let them down. The consortium fighters, momentarily disoriented, regrouped, but were now taking fire from both the Orion's Edge and their allies. Mia glanced at the screens displaying the other ships in the fleet, watching as they engaged in their own fierce battles. "Captain, the fighters are losing cohesion," Raj called out. "They're trying to regroup, but we're getting through." "Good, keep pushing them back." "Zircon, how's that communications disruption coming?" Mia asked, her heart racing with hope. "Almost complete," the Zircon replied, its eyes flickering with energy. "I am generating a feedback loop that should disrupt their coordination. It will create confusion among their ranks." "Let's use that to our advantage," Mia urged. "Raj, focus fire on the stragglers." The Orion's Edge continued to fire, blasts lighting up the darkness as consortium fighters exploded in brilliant flashes. Mia felt the tide of battle shifting, and she knew they had to keep pressing forward. Suddenly, the monitor blared a warning. "Multiple ships incoming from the staging area. Reinforcements," Raj shouted, urgency flooding his voice. "Zircon, can you identify them?" Mia asked, her heart sinking as she braced for the worst. "Scanning. They appear to be larger vessels. Looks like they're capital ships," the Zircon reported, its tone grim. "This changes the situation dramatically." Mia clenched her fists, her mind racing. "We need to fall back. We can't take on that many at once." "Raj, signal the other captains." "On it. Initiating fallback procedures," Raj replied, his fingers flying over the controls as he activated the communication systems. "Captain Alada, we need to regroup," Mia shouted into the comms. "The consortium is sending in reinforcements. We can't hold this position." "Copy that." "Mia, we're pulling back to a safer distance. Hold tight." Ilara's voice crackled through the comms, determination lacing her tone. "Zircon, can you maintain the disruption while we retreat?" Mia asked, her mind racing. "I can hold the signal for a limited time," the Zircon replied, its expression focused. "But I cannot guarantee complete effectiveness once we disengage." "Understood. Let's make the most of it," Mia said, feeling a rush of urgency. "Raj, get us out of here." The ship lurched as Raj maneuvered them away from the staging area, energy blast still ringing in their wake. The consortium fighters were regrouping, but their coordination was faltering thanks to the Zircon's interference. As they pulled back, Mia could see the larger consortium ships emerging, their imposing forms cutting through the darkness. A knot of dread formed in her stomach. They needed to escape before they were overwhelmed. "Keep an eye on our six," Mia shouted, scanning the monitors for any signs of pursuers. "We need to create a diversion to cover our escape." "Diverting power to the rear shields," Raj replied, determination etched on his face. "Zircon, are you ready to sever the communications once we're clear?" Mia asked, her pulse quickening. "Yes, I will sever the link once we are a safe distance away," the Zircon confirmed, its eyes bright with energy. "All right, let's make our move," Mia commanded, her heart racing. They needed to regroup and rethink their strategy, but they couldn't afford to be caught now. As they retreated, the Orion's Edge blasted its way through the last remnants of the consortium fighters, their confusion allowing Mia and her crew to slip through the cracks. Explosions lit up the space around them, a chaotic dance of light and sound. "Almost clear," Raj called out, his focus unwavering as he maneuvered the ship expertly. "We're gaining distance," Now, Zircon, sever the link, Mia commanded, feeling a rush of adrenaline. The Zircon nodded, its eyes glowing as it severed the connection with the consortium systems. Done. They will not have access to our position for the time being, it said, its voice steady. Good. Let's get out of here and regroup with the others, Mia said, feeling a wave of relief wash over her. They had survived the first wave, but the fight was far from over. As they navigated deeper into the void, Mia's thoughts raced. They had secured valuable intel, but they would need to analyze it quickly. The consortium wouldn't give them time to breathe. They would be coming for them. Raj, how are we doing on power? Mia asked, her mind shifting to the next steps. Power levels are stable, but we're going to need to replenish after that skirmish, Raj replied, glancing at the energy readouts. We can't afford to overextend ourselves. Agreed. We'll need to find a secure location to regroup with Captain Alara and the others, Mia said, her mind racing. Zircon, can you analyze the data you retrieved while we're en route? Of course. I will begin analyzing the information immediately, the Zircon replied, its expression serious as it began to interface with the ship's systems once more. Let's hope we have something useful, Mia murmured, her thoughts filled with anticipation. They had taken a significant risk, and she needed it to pay off. As they moved further away from the battle, the initial rush of adrenaline began to fade, replaced by the heavy weight of exhaustion. Mia felt it in her bones. They had fought hard, but the war was far from over. Raj, can you establish communications with the other captains? Mia asked, her voice steady. Establishing connection now, Raj replied, his fingers working swiftly. The screen flickered to life, revealing Captain Alara and the other captains as they gathered in the command center of the Celestial Wing. Mia, what's your status? Alara asked, her expression a mix of concern and determination. We secured the intel but encountered heavy resistance. The consortium is regrouping and sending in reinforcements, Mia explained, her voice steady. We need to analyze the data we retrieved to understand their next move. Agreed. We'll need to collaborate to come up with a new strategy, Alara replied, determination lacing her tone. Our forces can't take another assault without proper preparation. Mia nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. We need to find a secure location to analyze the data and regroup our forces. Once we have a clearer picture of their movements, we can formulate a plan. Captain Vera spoke up, her voice steady. There's a nearby asteroid field we could use as cover. It's treacherous, but it will provide us with the concealment we need to regroup and strategize. Sounds good, Mia replied, her mind racing with the implications. Let's move quickly. We don't have much time before the consortium realizes what we've done. As they plotted their course, Mia felt the weight of the moment pressing down on her. They were on the precipice of a greater confrontation, and she needed to ensure her team was ready. Raj, set a course for the asteroid field, Mia commanded, her voice steady. Zircon, keep working on analyzing that data. We need to know what the consortium is planning. The Orion's edge glided silently through the void, weaving through the jagged formations of the asteroid field. Mia's heart raced as she surveyed the rocky terrain on the main screen, a mix of trepidation and determination coursing through her veins. They were taking refuge in a natural fortress perfect for regrouping and planning their next move against the consortium. Raj, how are our shields? Mia asked, her voice steady despite the looming threat outside. Shields are stable, Captain, but we need to stay vigilant. This asteroid field is our best chance to hide, but it's also a maze. One wrong turn, and we could end up in the path of an asteroid, Raj replied, his fingers flying over the controls as he maneuvered the ship with precision. Mia nodded, glancing at the screen where the data from their recent skirmish was still displaying. The tension hung in the air like a charged particle, palpable and heavy. They had narrowly escaped a precarious situation, but the real work was only just beginning. Zircon, how is the analysis coming along? Mia inquired, turning to the Zircon, which was busily interfacing with the ship's systems. I am processing the data now. There are several key insights regarding their troop movements and command structures, the Zircon replied, its eyes flickering as it parsed through the information. However, it will take some time to present a comprehensive overview. Time we might not have, Mia muttered, feeling the weight of their predicament. Let's see if we can expedite that process. Captain, Raj said, interrupting her thoughts. We're receiving a transmission from Captain Ilara. Put her through, Mia commanded, her heart racing as the screen flickered to life once more. Ilara's face appeared, her expression serious. Mia, we've got some intel of our own. We've picked up chatter among consortium forces. They're mobilizing for a counteroffensive after your engagement. They know you secured data, and they're scrambling to figure out what we know. Mia's mind raced. What do they intend to do? They're consolidating their ships and troops. It looks like they're planning a coordinated strike against us, likely to come in waves. We need to be ready for them, Ilara warned. Thanks for the heads up. We're analyzing the data we secured, but we need to figure out our next steps, Mia replied, her voice firm. Agreed. We should also regroup with the other captains and form a united front, Ilara suggested. If we work together, we can hold them off. Let's make that happen, Mia said, determination flooding her voice. Raj, keep us on standby. We may need to move quickly if they come for us. On it, Captain, Raj replied, his focus unwavering. Mia turned back to the Zircon, her mind racing. Do you think you can pull any more valuable information from the data while we prepare? I will accelerate the analysis, but the complexity of their command structure may take time to fully understand, the Zircon said, its expression serious. I will do my best. Thank you. Every moment counts, Mia replied, feeling the weight of her crew's trust on her shoulders. They had come so far, and she refused to let them down now. As time passed, the atmosphere on the bridge grew tense. The ship rocked gently as they navigated the treacherous asteroid field, the crew maintaining a wary vigilance. Mia could feel the tension building, like a storm brewing on the horizon. Captain, I have compiled preliminary findings from the data, Zircon announced, breaking the silence. Its eyes glowed brighter as it presented a holographic display. Mia stepped forward, her curiosity piqued. Show me. The hologram flickered to life, revealing a series of schematics and troop movements. This indicates a large mobilization of consortium forces. They are positioning their ships in a strategic formation to launch a multi-pronged attack. Additionally, their ground troops are being deployed for a coordinated strike, the Zircon explained. Damn it, Mia murmured, her heart sinking. We need to disrupt their plans before they can execute this strike. Captain, if we can intercept their communications, we may be able to sow confusion among their ranks, the Zircon suggested. I can attempt to create a feedback loop similar to what we did during our engagement. Let's do it. We need to delay their offensive as much as possible, Mia replied, her mind racing with possibilities. Raj, can we adjust our position to get a better line of sight on their formations? Absolutely. I can angle us around this cluster of asteroids to gain a better perspective, Raj replied, his fingers moving deftly over the controls. Let's make it happen, Mia commanded, her determination fueling her resolve. As Raj maneuvered the ship through the asteroid field, Mia felt a mix of anxiety and anticipation. This was their chance to strike back, to turn the tide in their favor. But they needed to act fast. Zircon, how long until you can establish that communications feedback loop? Mia asked, her heart racing. Approximately 5 minutes, the Zircon replied, its eyes steady. However, I will need to maintain a direct connection to their systems during that time. Any disruption could compromise the effort. Understood. We'll need to keep our shields up and be ready for anything, Mia replied, her voice steady. Captain, we're nearing a position that will give us a clear view of their formations, Raj announced, his eyes focused on the monitor. Good. Let's get ready to intercept, Mia commanded. I want the crew prepared for any incoming threats. We can't afford to be caught off guard. As the Orion's edge settled into position, Mia's heart raced. The holographic display showed the consortium ships moving in synchronized patterns, their formations precise and menacing. The stakes were higher than ever, and she felt the weight of her responsibilities pressing down on her. "Zircon, can you link up with their systems now?" Mia asked, her voice firm. "Initiating link," the Zircon replied, its eyes glowing as it interfaced with the enemy's communications network. Mia held her breath as she watched the holographic display flicker, the consortium's communications flowing into view. "I can see their command structure, their communications. We can disrupt their coordination," the Zircon said, its tone serious. "Let's do it," Mia urged, determination flooding her voice. "We need to create confusion among their ranks." The Zircon nodded, its focus unwavering. "Establishing feedback loop now." Mia felt a rush of adrenaline as the holographic display shifted, showing a wave of static ripple through the consortium's communications. She watched as their ships began to falter, confusion spreading through their ranks. "It's working. They're starting to lose their coordination," the Zircon announced, its eyes bright with energy. "But we must act quickly. They will adapt to this tactic." "Raj, prepare to engage. We need to take advantage of their confusion," Mia commanded, her heart racing. "Target their lead ship." "Firing now," Raj replied, the Orion's edge shuddering as it unleashed a barrage of energy blasts at the lead consortium vessel. The energy beam struck true, tearing through the lead ship's shields and sending it spiraling out of control. Mia felt a surge of exhilaration as she watched the chaos unfold. "Direct hit. They're scrambling to respond," Raj called out, his excitement palpable. "We need to keep the pressure on." "Zircon, maintain the feedback loop for as long as possible," Mia shouted, her determination fueling her resolve. "Raj, keep firing." As they continued their assault, the consortium ships struggled to regroup, their formations breaking apart under the pressure. Mia felt a rush of hope as the tide began to shift in their favor. "Captain, they're launching fighters to engage us," Raj warned, urgency lacing his voice. "Prepare for incoming fire." "Zircon, how much longer can you maintain the loop?" Mia asked, her pulse quickening. "I can hold it for approximately 2 more minutes before their systems adapt," the Zircon replied, its expression focused. "Then let's make every second count," Mia shouted, her heart racing. "Raj, target the fighters." The Orion's edge responded, unleashing another barrage of energy blast as consortium fighters swarmed toward them. The explosions lit up the void, a chaotic dance of light and sound. "Evasive maneuvers," Mia commanded, gripping the controls as the ship rocked under the incoming fire. "Raj, keep us moving." Raj maneuvered deftly, evading incoming blasts as they continued to press their advantage. "We're holding our own, but we need to wrap this up quickly," he shouted. "Zircon, prepare to sever the link," Mia called out. "We need to regroup once we've caused enough chaos." "Understood," the Zircon replied, its eyes glowing as it began to prepare for the disconnection. As they engaged in fierce combat, Mia felt the adrenaline coursing through her veins. They were fighting for their survival, for their chance to strike back at the consortium, and she was determined to see it through. "Captain, their ships are starting to regroup," Raj warned, urgency lacing his voice. The chaos of battle raged outside the Orion's edge, but Mia felt a strange calm wash over her as she surveyed the unfolding skirmish. The consortium had fallen into disarray, their formations breaking apart as the Zircon's feedback loop disrupted their communications. But they were regrouping, and Mia knew that the window of opportunity was rapidly closing. "Zircon, how much longer can you hold the feedback loop?" Mia asked, her voice steady even amidst the chaos. "I can maintain it for approximately 1 more minute," the Zircon replied, its eyes bright with intensity. "After that, their systems will adapt, and the effectiveness will diminish significantly." "Raj, we need to make this count," Mia commanded, her heart racing. "Target the lead ship again. If we can take it out, we might cause even more confusion." Raj nodded, his focus unwavering. "On it. locking weapons on the target now. The ship shuddered as they fired, energy beams slicing through the darkness. Mia watched with bated breath as the bolts struck true, impacting the lead consortium ship with ferocious force. The vessel erupted in a fireball, sending debris spiraling into the void. "Direct hit, they're disoriented," Raj called out, his excitement palpable. "We need to keep the pressure on." "Zircon, keep the loop steady. We need a few more moments of chaos," Mia urged, her determination unwavering. "Raj, fire at any ship that looks like it's trying to regroup." "Firing now," Raj shouted, unleashing another barrage as consortium fighters attempted to re-establish their formation. The Orion's Edge rocked under the strain of combat, energy blast ringing against their shields. Mia gripped the controls, her heart pounding as she focused on the chaos unfolding before her. She could feel the tide of battle shifting, but they weren't out of danger yet. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple incoming fighters," Raj warned, urgency lacing his voice. "Evasive maneuvers, Zircon, prepare to sever the connection," Mia commanded, her pulse racing. "We need to regroup with the others." "Severing the loop," the Zircon announced, its eyes glowing as it prepared for disconnection. Just as the Zircon completed its task, a wave of consortium fighters surged toward them, their weapons primed and ready. Mia's heart raced as she called out, "Raj, focus on those incoming fighters. We can't let them overwhelm us." The ship shuddered again as Raj deftly maneuvered, evading incoming fire while returning fire on the approaching ships. Explosions erupted in the void, light the darkness as consortium fighters began to fall from the sky. "Captain, we're taking heavy fire," Raj shouted, sweat beading on his brow. "We need to pull back before we sustain critical damage." "Understood. Fall back. Let's regroup with Captain Ilara and the others," Mia ordered, her voice firm. "Set a course for the rendezvous point." Raj quickly adjusted the ship's trajectory, steering them toward a safer distance. As they moved away, Mia could see the chaos of battle in her rearview ships tumbling, explosions lighting up the void, and consortium forces scrambling to regain their composure. "Captain, we're clear of the immediate threat," Raj reported, his voice steadying as they gained distance. "Shields holding at 70%. Mia let out a breath she didn't realize she had been holding. "Good work, everyone. Let's regroup and assess our next steps." Once they reached the designated rendezvous point, Mia felt the tension ease, but the reality of their situation pressed down on her. The Celestial Wing and other allied ships were already gathered, their hulls gleaming against the backdrop of distant stars. "Captain Ilara, status report," Mia said as she opened a communication channel. "Mia, we made it through the engagement with minimal losses. We managed to secure some of the consortium's supply ships during the chaos," Ilara replied, her voice firm. "We've got crucial intel, but we need to regroup and strategize. The consortium will not take this lightly." "Agreed. We need to analyze the data we retrieve from the engagement," Mia replied, her mind racing with possibilities. "I'll get the Zircon to summarize our findings and coordinate with you." "Excellent. Let's meet in the Celestial Wing's command center in 15 minutes, Ilara said. "We need to work together to prepare for the consortium's next move." Mia nodded, determination surging through her. "I'll be there. Let's make this count." As they prepared to transfer to the Celestial Wing, Mia gathered her crew. "Listen up, everyone. We've done well to survive that engagement, but we need to be ready for the consortium's counterattack. Raj, I want you to coordinate with Ilara's engineering team to assess any damage we sustained." "Got it, Captain," Raj replied, his voice steady. "Zircon, I need you to analyze the data we've compiled and present it in a way that we can use for our strategy session," Mia said, her expression focused. "Understood," the Zircon replied, its eyes bright with energy. "I will synthesize the information immediately." "Let's move out. We need to be ready for whatever comes next," Mia urged, her heart racing as they made their way to the Celestial Wing. In the command center, the atmosphere was tense. Ilara, Captain Vera, and other leaders from the fleet were already assembled, their expressions serious. The walls were filled with holographic displays of the battle data, showcasing the consortium's movements and the current state of the conflict. "Mia, glad you made it," Elara greeted her, gesturing to a seat at the table. "We've gathered everything we could on the consortium strategy. It looks like they're planning a full-scale counteroffensive." Mia took her seat, her eyes scanning the data. "What do we know about their movements?" "From the chatter we intercepted, it appears they're focusing their efforts on regrouping their fleet. They want to retaliate in force, likely targeting us here," Elara explained, pointing at the holographic display. "We need to anticipate their tactics and counter accordingly." The Zircon stepped forward, projecting its findings onto the display. "Based on the data we acquired, the consortium has several key weaknesses in their command structure. If we can exploit these gaps, we can disrupt their coordination during their offensive." Mia leaned forward, her heart racing. "What do you suggest?" "First, we can target their supply lines. Disrupting their resources will cripple their ability to sustain a prolonged engagement," the Zircon proposed. "Additionally, I can create further disruptions within their communications to sow confusion during the attack." "Disrupting their supply lines could be risky," Captain Vera cautioned, "but it might also provide the leverage we need." "It's a risk worth taking," Mia interjected, her determination fueling her resolve. "If we can weaken them before their attack, we'll stand a better chance when the time comes." Elara nodded, her expression serious. "Then it's settled. We'll split our forces. Some of us will focus on disrupting their supply lines, while others will prepare for a defensive stance." "Agreed. Raj, I want you coordinating with Elara's engineering team on the best way to execute the supply line disruption," Mia instructed. "Absolutely, Captain," Raj replied, his focus unwavering. "And Zircon, I need you to prepare for the communication disruptions," Mia said, her eyes locked on the Zircon. "You'll need to stay connected to their systems during the operation." "Understood. I will begin preparations immediately," the Zircon replied, its expression serious. "All right, everyone. Let's move quickly. We need to be ready to act before the consortium realizes what we're planning," Mia commanded, her voice firm. As the crew mobilized, Mia felt a rush of energy. This was their chance to turn the tide, to strike back against the consortium before they could fully regroup. But as she walked through the corridors of the Celestial Wing, doubt crept into her mind. Would they be able to pull this off? Was it too risky? The weight of her responsibilities pressed down on her, but she pushed those thoughts aside. They had to move forward. In the hangar bay, the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation as pilots prepared their ships for the upcoming mission. Mia approached Raj, who was deep in conversation with the engineering team. "Are we ready?" Mia asked, her heart racing. "We're making the necessary modifications to our systems. We should be able to maximize our efficiency during the disruption," Raj replied, his expression focused. "We'll have to act quickly to capitalize on the consortium's confusion." "Good. Let's get this done," Mia urged, determination flooding her voice. She needed to believe in their plan, and she needed her crew to believe it too. "Captain," a voice called out, interrupting her thoughts. It was one of the pilots, a young woman named Tessa. "We're ready to launch at your command." Mia nodded, feeling a surge of pride for her crew. "All right, everyone, prepare for launch. We have a mission ahead of us, and I know we can succeed." As the pilots climbed into their ships, Mia felt the weight of her responsibilities settling back onto her shoulders, but she pushed those thoughts aside, focusing on. The hangar bay hummed with activity as the crew of the Celestial Wing prepared for their daring mission. Mia stood at the front, her heart pounding with a mix of anticipation and determination. They were about to undertake a critical operation to disrupt the consortium's supply lines, a move that could shift the balance of power in their favor. "All right, team, listen up," Mia called, her voice cutting through the noise. "We're heading into consortium territory to hit their supply lines. This is our chance to weaken their forces before their counteroffensive can truly begin. We need precision, speed, and teamwork. No one gets left behind. A murmur of agreement rippled through the gathered pilots and crew members. She could see the resolve in their faces, a fierce determination to fight back against the consortium that had wreaked havoc on their lives for too long. "Raj, how's our readiness looking?" Mia asked, turning to her second in command. "Systems are green across the board, Captain. We're ready to launch on your command," Raj replied, his fingers dancing over the controls as he double-checked their ship's status. "Good. Let's make sure to keep our shields up at all times. We don't know what kind of defenses they have in place," Mia cautioned, her voice steady. "Zirkin, are you ready to coordinate the communication disruptions once we're in position?" "Ready and waiting, Captain. I will initiate the feedback loop as soon as we establish a connection to their systems," the Zirkin replied, its eyes glowing with anticipation. "Perfect. Let's move out," Mia commanded, her voice firm. As the fleet launched into the dark void of space, Mia took a deep breath, steadying herself for the challenges ahead. The Orion's Edge surged forward, flanked by the Celestial Wing and a handful of smaller ships, each piloted by brave souls ready to fight for their cause. "Captain, we're entering consortium territory," Raj announced, his voice tense. "We need to be on high alert." "Understood. Keep an eye on our sensors for any sign of patrols," Mia replied, her heart racing as she scanned the view screen for any sign of the enemy. The stars glimmered around them, and for a moment the vastness of space felt serene. But that tranquility was deceptive. They were heading into the lion's den, and the danger lurked just out of sight. "Zirkin, can you access their supply line coordinates?" Mia asked, her eyes fixed on the holographic display that lit the bridge. "Accessing now," the Zirkin replied, its eyes flickering. "I have pinpointed the locations of their supply ships. We can intercept them at this point," it said, highlighting a cluster of ships in a holographic projection. Mia nodded, feeling a surge of determination. "Let's take them out and make it hurt." "Raj, set a course for the first target." "Course plotted. Engaging thrusters," Raj said, his voice steady as he maneuvered the ship toward the designated location. As they approached the supply line, tension hung in the air like a charged particle. The crew remained focused, their eyes scanning for any sign of the enemy. "Captain, we're getting sensor readings of multiple supply ships ahead," Raj reported. "They're heavily guarded." "All right. We'll need to come in fast and hit them hard. Zirkin, initiate the communication disruption as soon as we make contact," Mia instructed, her heart racing. "Let's create chaos in their ranks." "Understood." Preparing to link with their systems, the Zirkin replied, its eyes shimmering with intensity. The Orion's Edge closed in on the supply ships, and Mia's breath caught in her throat. The ships were massive, their hulls bristling with weaponry and supplies, but she could see the consortium's fighters patrolling the area. "Raj, prepare for evasive maneuvers," Mia said, her mind racing with strategy. "We need to hit them from multiple angles." "Ready to execute your orders, Captain," Raj replied, his fingers poised over the controls. "Now," Mia shouted, her heart pounding as they unleashed a barrage of energy blasts at the nearest supply ship. The shots struck true, tearing through the shields and igniting explosions that lit up the darkness. "Direct hit, they're returning fire," Raj called out, expertly maneuvering the ship to dodge incoming blasts. "Zirkin, activate the feedback loop," Mia commanded, her eyes glued to the displays. The Zirkin interfaced with the enemy systems, and a wave of static rippled through the consortium's communications. "Feedback loop initiated. They are losing coordination," the Zirkin announced. Mia felt a surge of exhilaration. "Raj, keep targeting their supply ships. We need to disrupt their operations as much as possible." "On it. Engaging targets now," Raj replied, unleashing another volley of energy blasts. As explosions rocked the area, Mia watched the chaos unfold. Consortium fighters scrambled to regroup, but the feedback loop had thrown their communications into disarray. Mia felt a fierce thrill. This was their chance to turn the tide. "Captain, we have incoming fighters," one of the crew shouted, urgency lacing their voice. "Evasive maneuvers. Raj, keep us moving," Mia commanded, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Raj expertly piloted the Orion's Edge, dodging blast as they continued to fire on the supply ships. The explosions lit up the darkness, and Mia's heart raced with determination. They were in the thick of it now, and there was no turning back. "Zircon, how much longer can you hold the feedback loop?" Mia asked, her focus unwavering. "I can maintain it for another 3 minutes before their systems adapt," the Zircon replied, its eyes glowing with energy. "Then let's make the most of it," Mia urged. "Keep firing on those supply ships." As the battle raged on, Mia felt the weight of their mission pressing down on her. They needed to cripple the consortium's supply lines to make their counteroffensive weaker. Every shot fired was a step closer to their goal. "Captain, we've damaged 2 supply ships, but we still have more incoming," Raj warned, urgency in his voice. "Keep targeting the most heavily armed vessels. We need to take out their firepower," Mia commanded, her heart racing. Just then, an alert blared on the bridge. "Captain, incoming missile lock," one of the crew shouted. "Raj, evasive maneuvers now," Mia shouted, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Raj pulled the ship into a sharp roll, narrowly avoiding the incoming missiles. The Orion's Edge shuddered under the strain, but they held steady. "Captain, we're losing power to the aft shields," Raj called out, his eyes darting between readings. "Divert power from non-essential systems. We need those shields holding," Mia ordered, her voice firm. "Power diverted," Raj shouted, the ship stabilizing as they regained control. "We've got to get out of here." Mia's heart raced as she glanced at the viewscreen. The consortium forces were regrouping, their ships beginning to coordinate once again. "Zircon, how much longer until they adapt to your disruption?" "Approximately 1 minute," the Zircon replied, its eyes shimmering. "We need to act quickly." "Raj, keep firing at their supply ships. We can't let them regroup," Mia commanded, determination flooding her voice. The Orion's Edge unleashed another barrage, striking true and igniting explosions that light the darkness. Mia felt a surge of hope as she watched the consortium ships falter, their defenses wavering. "Captain, we're being surrounded by enemy fighters," one of the crew shouted. "Damn it, Raj, we need to break through," Mia commanded. "Set a course for the nearest supply ship and get us out of here." "Engaging thrusters now," Raj replied, his fingers flying over the controls. As they surged forward, Mia felt the rush of adrenaline. They were making a stand, fighting back against the forces that sought to destroy them. But the threat was far from over. With every passing moment, the tide of battle shifted. The consortium was regrouping, and Mia could sense the urgency in the air. They had to make their escape before the feedback loop wore off, before the enemy regained their coordination. "Zircon, can you prepare another round of disruption?" Mia asked, her voice steady. "Preparing to initiate another feedback loop, but it may not be as effective as the first," the Zircon replied, its eyes focused. "They are beginning to adapt." "Do it anyway. We need every advantage we can get," Mia commanded, her determination unwavering. "Initiating now," the Zircon announced, its eyes flickering as it interfaced with the enemy systems once more. The familiar wave of static rippled through the consortium's communications, and Mia watched as confusion spread among their ranks again. "Good. Keep it steady, Zircon," she shouted. "Captain, they're firing on us," Raj warned, urgency in his voice. "Evasive maneuvers. Raj, keep us moving," Mia commanded, her heart racing. The Orion's Edge danced through the chaos, dodging incoming blasts as they pressed forward. Mia felt a rush of exhilaration as they maneuvered through the debris of the destroyed supply ships. "Target that fighter on our right," Mia shouted. The battle raged around them, a chaotic tapestry of energy blasts and exploding ships, but Mia remained laser-focused on the task at hand. The Orion's Edge swerved and dodged, a sleek predator amidst the wreckage of the consortium's supply line. Every explosion lit the dark canvas of space, a reminder of the stakes involved. "Raj, target that fighter on our right," Mia shouted, her heart pounding in sync with the frantic pulse of combat. "On it, locking weapons," Raj replied, his fingers flying over the controls. The ship shuddered as they unleashed a barrage of fire. The energy beams tore through the vacuum, striking the enemy fighter with a brilliant flash. "Direct hit," Raj called, a note of exhilaration in his voice. "Keep the pressure on, Zircon. How's that feedback loop holding?" Mia pressed, her eyes scanning for any signs of incoming threats. "Maintaining the loop. Their systems are showing signs of instability, but they are adapting more quickly than expected," the Zircon replied, its eyes flickering with intensity. "We need to act fast." Mia's heart raced. "We can't let them regroup. If we can disrupt their command and control long enough, we can turn this fight in our favor." "Captain, more fighters are coming in from the rear," Raj warned, urgency flooding his voice. "Damn it, Raj, take us up. We need to get above their formation," Mia commanded. The ship tilted upward, the thrusters roaring to life as they ascended, evading enemy fire. As they climbed, Mia could see the chaotic battle below. Consortium fighters scrambled to regain their footing, their formations a jumbled mess. This was their chance. "Zircon, can you amplify the feedback loop? Make it more disruptive?" Mia asked, her mind racing with possibilities. "Attempting to enhance the signal now," the Zircon replied, its eyes glowing brighter. "It may draw attention to our position, however." "Do it. We need to capitalize on this confusion," Mia commanded, her voice unwavering. The Zircon focused its energy, and a wave of static pulsed through the consortium's communications. Mia watched as the enemy ships began to falter even more, their coordination slipping as panic spread among their ranks. "Look at them scatter," Raj exclaimed, a grin breaking through his earlier tension. "They don't know what hit them." "Let's keep hitting them while they're off balance," Mia urged, adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Raj, can we target that group of supply ships at the edge of their formation?" "Absolutely, Captain. Setting course now," Raj replied, steering the ship deftly through the debris. As they approached, the sight of the supply ships, still laden with cargo and seemingly unaware of the impending assault, filled Mia with fierce resolve. They would not let the consortium recover. "Firing," Raj shouted, unleashing a flurry of energy blasts that struck true. The supply ship erupted in flames, a satisfying explosion that lit up the void. "Good shot. Let's keep moving," Mia encouraged, the exhilaration of the moment pushing her forward. "Target the next one. We have to hit them hard before they can regroup." The Orion's Edge pressed forward, navigating through the wreckage and targeting the remaining supply ships. Mia felt the thrill of battle coursing through her, a potent mix of fear and exhilaration. They were making a difference, and she couldn't let that slip away. Suddenly, alarms blared on the bridge. "Captain, we've got incoming fighters. They're flanking us," one of the crew shouted. "Raj, evasive maneuvers. Zircon, prepare to sever the feedback loop if necessary," Mia commanded, her heart racing. Raj pulled the ship into a sharp roll, narrowly avoiding incoming fire. The Orion's Edge rocked under the strain, but they held steady. "Hold on, I'm getting us out of here," Raj shouted, focusing on the controls. "Zircon, can you maintain the loop while we evade?" Mia asked, her mind racing. "I will do my best, but the feedback is becoming unstable," the Zircon replied, its eyes flickering with intensity. "Just hold on as long as you can. We need to create some distance," Mia urged. Raj pulled the ship into a steep dive, evading the incoming fire. They barreled past a debris field, the remnants of the consortium's supply ships swirling around them. "Captain, the feedback loop is destabilizing," Zircon warned. "I can't hold it much longer." "Now, sever the connection," Mia shouted, her voice firm. With a flash, the connection was cut. The feedback loop dissipated, and the consortium ships regained their communication. Mia felt a surge of dread. They would now have a chance to retaliate. Raj, full reverse. We need to create distance while we regroup, Mia commanded. Got it, Raj replied, his fingers deftly maneuvering the controls. As they pulled away from the chaos, Mia took a moment to gather her thoughts. The tension on the bridge was palpable as they assessed the situation. The consortium fighters were regrouping, their formation solidifying once more. Captain, what's our next move? Raj asked, his expression serious. We need to regroup with the other ships and share what we've learned, Mia replied, her mind racing. We've done significant damage, but we need a plan for their counterattack. Communications with Alara's ship are still down, Raj pointed out. We'll need to reach them before they can regroup. Let's plot a course back to the rendezvous point, Mia decided. We need to share our intel and regroup before the consortium can mount a counteroffensive. The Orion's Edge surged forward, navigating through the debris field as they made their way back to the rendezvous point. Mia's heart raced, and she could feel the adrenaline slowly fading, replaced by a deep-seated weariness. Raj, keep an eye on the sensors. We don't want any surprises on the way back, Mia instructed. Understood. I'll monitor for any incoming threats, Raj replied, his focus unwavering. As they flew through the remnants of the battle, Mia reflected on the chaos they had just survived. They had dealt a blow to the consortium, but the battle was far from over. The weight of their mission pressed heavily on her, and she knew that the next steps would be crucial. Upon reaching the rendezvous point, the atmosphere was tense. The Celestial Wing and several Allied ships were already there, their crews visibly strained from the earlier battle. Mia, you made it, Alara exclaimed, relief evident in her voice as she rushed over. What's the status? Mia took a breath, steeling herself. We hit their supply lines hard, but we also faced heavier resistance than we anticipated. The consortium is regrouping, and we need to prepare for their counteroffensive. Did you manage to gather any intel? Alara pressed, her eyes sharp with focus. Yes, we disrupted their communications for a time, which caused chaos among their ranks, Mia explained. But they're adapting quickly. We need to come up with a solid strategy to counter their next move. Alara nodded, her expression turning serious. Then let's get everyone together. We need to share what we've learned and come up with a plan. As the crew gathered in the command center of the Celestial Wing, Mia felt a renewed sense of purpose. They had fought bravely, but the next battle would determine the fate of their struggle against the consortium. Listen up, everyone, Mia called, her voice strong and commanding. We've made significant progress today, but we're far from done. The consortium will not take our actions lightly, and we need to be ready for whatever they throw at us. She looked around at the faces of her crew and allies, seeing the determination reflected in their eyes. We've learned that their supply lines are vulnerable, and we can exploit that. But we need a coordinated strategy to ensure our survival. We have to anticipate their movements, Raj chimed in. If we can predict where they're going next, we can stay one step ahead. Alara nodded. We should focus on intelligence gathering. If we can find out where they're planning to strike next, we can prepare our defenses and make our own counterattack. The room buzzed with ideas as everyone began discussing tactics and strategies. Mia felt the energy of her crew, a fierce determination igniting within her. They were ready to fight, ready to stand up against the consortium's tyranny. All right, team, let's finalize our plan and make sure we're prepared for whatever comes next, Mia said, her heart swelling with pride for her crew. We will not let them dictate our fate. We fight together, and we will prevail. As the crew finalized their strategies, Mia felt a wave of resolve wash over her. They were on the brink of something monumental, and she knew that every decision they made from this point forward would be crucial. Let's get to work, she urged, her heart racing with anticipation. The fight isn't over yet, and together, we will turn the tide. With renewed determination, the crew dove into their preparations, each person aware of the stakes involved. They would fight for their future, and they would do it together, united against the shadow of the consortium. The command center of the Celestial Wing hummed with activity as Mia and her crew finalized their strategies. Data streams flickered across the holographic displays, showcasing the consortium's supply routes, patrol patterns, and vulnerabilities. Mia stood at the center of the room, her mind racing with possibilities. They had dealt a significant blow to the consortium, but the next move would be critical. "All right, everyone, gather around," Mia called, her voice firm yet encouraging. The crew members turned their attention to her, their expressions a mix of determination and fatigue. "We need to map out our next steps. Raj, what intel do we have on the consortium's current movements?" Mia asked, gesturing toward the main display. Raj stepped forward, tapping a few controls to bring up a detailed map of the sector. "Based on the data we gathered during our last engagement, we can anticipate their resupply routes. This one here," he pointed to a flashing red line, "is heavily trafficked. If we hit this, we can disrupt their logistics and buy ourselves some time." "Good," Mia nodded, her mind whirring. "We need to take out their supplies without getting into a full-blown engagement. Ilara, can your ship handle a distraction while we make the strike?" Ilara, standing at the edge of the group, crossed her arms. "Absolutely. I can create enough of a ruckus to draw their attention, but I'll need your team to time the strike perfectly." "Agreed. If we can keep their focus on the distraction, we'll have the element of surprise," Mia said, feeling the thrill of strategy coursing through her. "What about our defenses?" one of the crew members chimed in. "If they catch wind of our plan, we could be facing a larger fleet." "We need to prepare for that possibility," Mia replied, her brow furrowed in thought. "Zircon, can we enhance our ship's cloaking capabilities to get us in undetected?" "Yes, Captain. I can amplify the cloaking field, but it will drain power from our weapon systems." "We must decide how much to divert," Zircon said, its voice steady but urgent. "Let's balance it. We need to ensure we can defend ourselves if things go south," Mia instructed. "Raj, coordinate with Zircon to optimize the energy allocation." "Right away, Captain," Raj said, his fingers already working on the controls. As the crew worked through the logistics, Mia felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. This mission was risky, but the potential payoff could be monumental. They had a chance to weaken the consortium's grip on the region, and she couldn't let that slip away. Hours passed as they prepared for the mission. Tension filled the air, but there was also an undercurrent of camaraderie and shared purpose. Each crew member understood the stakes. They were fighting for their homes, their families, and their future. "All right, everyone, this is it," Mia said as they gathered one last time before launch. "We're heading into the heart of enemy territory. Stay sharp, stick to the plan, and watch each other's backs. We're stronger together." A chorus of affirmations echoed through the command center. Mia felt a swell of pride. They were ready to face whatever the consortium would throw at them. "Let's move out," she commanded, her heart pounding as they boarded their ships. As the Orion's Edge soared into the vastness of space, Mia's mind was a whirlpool of thoughts. The stars glimmered around them, but all she could focus on was the mission ahead. They moved stealthily through the shadows, cloaked from enemy sensors, as they approached the consortium supply line. "Raj, how's our power allocation looking?" Mia asked, glancing at the energy readings. "Cloaking field is stable, but we're running low on weapons power," Raj replied, his voice steady. "We'll need to make our shots count." "Understood. Just keep the ship steady," Mia said, her pulse quickening as they drew nearer to the target. As they closed in on the supply route, Mia peered out at the distant silhouettes of the consortium's ships, heavy and menacing against the dark backdrop of space. She could see the faint lights of their engines, a reminder of the looming threat. "Zircon, are you ready to initiate the feedback loop when we strike?" Mia asked, her focus unwavering. "Prepared and waiting, Captain," Zircon replied, its eyes flickering with anticipation. "Okay, Lara, let's position your ship to create the distraction," Mia instructed. "We'll hit them hard while their attention is diverted." "Copy that. I'll initiate the distraction as soon as you give the word," Ilara said, her voice filled with determination. With their plan in place, they approached the consortium supply line. Mia's heart raced as she focused on the distant ships. "On my mark," she whispered, tension coursing through her veins. "Target locked," Raj confirmed, his eyes fixed on the display. "Just say the word, Captain." "Now," Mia commanded, and the moment she did, Alara's ship erupted into action. A barrage of bright energy blasts lit up the darkness as Alara unleashed chaos among the consortium ships. The explosions sent shockwaves through the enemy formation, and Mia watched as their focus shifted, confusion rippling through their ranks. "Zircon, initiate the feedback loop," Mia shouted, adrenaline surging through her. The Zircon interfaced with the consortium systems, and a wave of static pulsed through their communications. "Feedback loop activated. They are losing coordination," Zircon announced, its eyes glowing with intensity. "Raj, engage," Mia commanded, her heart pounding. Raj fired a volley of energy blasts, targeting the nearest supply ship. The shot struck true, tearing through the hull and igniting an explosion that lit up the void. "Direct hit," Raj shouted, a note of exhilaration in his voice. Mia felt a rush of adrenaline as they pressed forward. "Keep firing. We need to create as much chaos as possible before they realize what's happening." As the Orion's edge danced through the chaos, Mia's senses heightened. The sight of enemy ships faltering and exploding filled her with a fierce resolve. They were turning the tide, but she knew the consortium wouldn't stay down for long. "Captain, incoming fighters," Raj warned, urgency lacing his voice. "Evasive maneuvers. We can't let them lock on to us," Mia shouted, her heart racing as she focused on the displays. Raj piloted the ship with expert precision, swerving to avoid incoming fire. The Orion's edge shuddered under the strain, but they held steady. "Zircon, can you maintain the loop while we evade?" Mia asked, her mind racing. "I will do my best, but the feedback is becoming unstable," the Zircon replied, its eyes flickering with intensity. "Just hold on as long as you can," Mia urged. As the battle unfolded, explosions rocked the void. Mia felt a fierce exhilaration coursing through her, fueled by the chaos around them. But just as she felt the tide shifting, a warning blared on the bridge. "Captain, they're regaining coordination. Their reinforcements are on the way," Raj shouted. "Damn it, we need to move," Mia shouted, her heart racing. "Zircon, prepare to sever the feedback loop." The Zircon complied, its focus unwavering. "Severing connection now," it announced. With a flash, the connection was cut, and the consortium ships regained their communication. Mia felt a surge of dread. They were no longer disorganized. "Raj, plot an escape route. We need to get out of here," Mia commanded, urgency threading through her voice. "Setting course for the nearest safe zone," Raj replied, his fingers flying over the controls. The Orion's edge swerved, narrowly avoiding incoming fire as they raced to escape the encroaching threat. "Captain, we've got enemy fighters on our tail," one of the crew shouted. "Keep evasive maneuvers. We can't let them lock on," Mia urged, her heart pounding as she felt the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Raj piloted the ship with deft precision, dodging blasts and navigating through the debris of the battlefield. But the consortium was relentless, their fighters closing in. "Raj, boost power to the engines. We need to outrun them," Mia commanded. "On it," Raj shouted, diverting energy to the engines. As they surged forward, Mia could feel the tension in the air. They were pushing their ship to its limits, and the pressure was mounting. Suddenly, the Orion's edge jolted violently, the ship shuddering as an explosion rocked their hull. Alarms blared, and Mia's heart sank. "Damage report," she shouted, panic creeping into her voice. "Shields down to 20%. We've taken hull damage," a crew member reported, urgency in their tone. "Damn it, Raj, keep us moving. We need to escape," Mia urged, her mind racing. "Trying. The engines are struggling to maintain power," Raj replied, his focus unwavering as he fought to keep them steady. Mia's heart raced as she glanced at the view screen, the consortium fighters closing in. They were almost there, but the threat felt overwhelming. "Zirkin, can you boost our shields?" Mia asked, desperation lacing her voice. Mia's heart pounded in her chest as the alarms blared around her, the tension in the Orion's edge thick enough to cut with a knife. She stared at the viewscreen, watching the consortium fighters close in on their position like wolves circling their prey. The ship shuddered again, a harsh reminder of the damage they'd sustained. "Zirkin, can you boost our shields?" Mia urged, desperation creeping into her voice. "I can attempt a temporary reinforcement, but it will drain power from our life support systems," the Zirkin replied, its eyes shimmering with intensity. "Do it. We need every ounce of protection we can get," Mia commanded, her voice firm despite the rising fear. "Reinforcing shields now," Zirkin said, focusing its energy on enhancing the ship's defenses. The ship responded with a low hum, and Mia felt a flicker of hope. "Raj, how's the engine?" she asked, glancing over her shoulder. "Struggling, but we're still mobile," Raj replied, sweat beading on his forehead as he worked the controls. "If we can just make it to the debris field ahead, we might have a chance to hide." "Then let's get there," Mia shouted, urgency threading through her words. "Full speed ahead." As they surged forward, the enemy fighters unleashed a hail of energy blasts, bright streaks of light that pierced the darkness of space. Mia gripped the edge of her console, heart racing as she felt the tension in the air. "Evasive maneuvers," she shouted, every instinct telling her to fight back, but survival had to come first. Raj guided the ship into a sharp roll, narrowly avoiding a barrage of fire that erupted behind them. The ship rocked violently, and Mia braced herself against the console. "Shields holding at 15%, a crew member called out, urgency in their voice. "Maintain evasive maneuvers. We can't afford to get hit again," Mia commanded, her mind racing. They had to make it to the debris field. It was their only chance. "Almost there," Raj called, determination etched on his face. Just as they neared the debris field, a warning blared from the control panel. "Incoming fire!" Mia's breath caught in her throat. "Brace for impact." The Orion's edge shuddered violently as a blast struck the hull. The lights flickered, and Mia felt a jolt of fear. "Damage report," she shouted. "Shields down, hull integrity compromised," a crew member yelled, panic in their voice. "Keep us moving, Raj," Mia urged, forcing herself to stay focused. "We can't stop now." With a fierce determination, Raj piloted the ship into the debris field. The remnants of destroyed ships and equipment surrounded them like a twisted maze, providing both cover and a potential risk. "Zirkin, can you keep our systems operational while we hide?" Mia asked, her voice steady despite the chaos. "I will do my utmost, Captain," Zirkin replied, its eyes glowing brightly as it interfaced with the ship's systems. As they maneuvered through the debris, Mia took a moment to collect her thoughts. They were not out of danger yet. The consortium would undoubtedly pursue them. "Raj, how long until we can assess the damage?" Mia asked, her gaze fixed on the scanner. "Give me a minute," Raj replied, focus unwavering as he navigated the maze of wreckage. Mia felt the seconds stretch into eternity. Each moment spent in the debris field felt like a gamble, but it was their best chance for survival. She knew they had to regroup and assess their options. "Okay, team, we need to stay sharp," Mia said, her voice steady as she addressed the crew. "We've taken heavy damage, and we can't afford to be caught off guard. Let's prepare for a potential fight or escape." The crew nodded, their expressions a mix of determination and anxiety. The tension in the air was palpable as they worked to assess their status. "Captain, I'm getting scans of enemy vessels in the area," one crew member reported. "They're searching for us." "Damn it. We need to stay hidden until we can make a proper plan," Mia replied, her heart racing. "Raj, can we make any repairs while we're in hiding?" Mia asked, glancing back at him. "We can try to reroute some power to critical systems, but we'll need time," Raj said, his eyes focused on the console. "Then we take what time we can," Mia replied. "Zirkin, Keep monitoring their communications. We need to know when it's safe to move." "I will maintain vigilance," Zirkin assured her, its eyes flickering as it tapped into the consortium's network. Minutes passed, and Mia felt the weight of uncertainty pressing down on her. The ship's systems were limping along, and the crew was exhausted. Each crew member was acutely aware that they had narrowly escaped a devastating confrontation. "Captain, the enemy ships are getting closer," a crew member warned. "They're sweeping the area, trying to locate us." "Hold your positions. Don't make any unnecessary movements," Mia instructed, her voice steady as she assessed their options. "Raj, keep our systems as quiet as possible." "Doing my best," Raj replied, his fingers dancing over the controls as he adjusted the ship's settings. Mia felt the tension in the air, every second stretching into a tight coil of anxiety. They were hiding in the wreckage, but the threat of discovery loomed larger than ever. "Zirkin, any updates?" Mia asked, feeling the need for reassurance. "They appear to be using thermal scans," Zirkin reported. "If we maintain our current power levels, we may avoid detection for a time." "Good. We need every moment we can get," Mia replied, glancing at the viewscreen. "If we can wait for the right moment to slip away, we might be able to find a more secure location to regroup." As they waited in silence, Mia's thoughts drifted to the battle they had just fought. They had struck a blow against the consortium, but it had come at a steep cost. The crew was exhausted, and the ship was damaged. They had a narrow window of opportunity before the consortium could regroup and retaliate. "Captain, the enemy vessels are moving away," a crew member announced, breaking the silence. "It seems they're regrouping." "Now's our chance," Mia said, adrenaline surging through her. "Raj, plot a course to the nearest safe zone." "On it," Raj replied, his fingers flying over the controls. "Zirkin, can you keep the feedback loop ready in case we encounter any stragglers?" Mia asked. "Affirmative. I will maintain the loop in case we need to disrupt their systems again," Zirkin assured her. With a steady determination, the Orion's Edge emerged from the debris field, cloaking systems active. The darkness of space enveloped them, and Mia felt a surge of hope as they navigated away from the danger zone. "Once we reach the safe zone, we can make repairs and regroup," Mia said, her voice steady as they pushed forward. "Captain, I'm detecting a small enemy vessel lingering nearby," a crew member reported, tension creeping into their voice. "Raj, get us ready to engage if necessary." "Zirkin, prepare the feedback loop," Mia commanded, her heart racing. Raj adjusted their trajectory, steering the ship toward the enemy vessel. "We can take it out before it alerts the main fleet," he said, his determination palpable. Mia felt a surge of adrenaline as they approached. "All right, everyone, prepare for combat. We'll make this quick." As they closed in on the enemy ship, Mia felt the tension rise. "Raj, can you get a lock?" "Locking now," Raj replied, his focus unwavering. "On my mark. 3, 2, 1, fire," Mia shouted. The Orion's Edge erupted with energy blasts, striking the enemy ship and sending it spiraling into the void. The explosion lit up the darkness, a bright reminder of their resolve. "Direct hit," Raj cheered, a mix of relief and triumph in his voice. "Let's keep moving before they can call for reinforcements," Mia urged, her heart racing as they surged forward. As they navigated away from the explosion, Mia felt a rush of exhilaration. They had struck another blow against the consortium, but the battle was far from over. They needed to regroup and repair the Orion's Edge before their next engagement. "Raj, plot a course for the nearest repair station," Mia instructed. "We need to make sure our systems are back online." "On it, Captain," Raj replied, determination etched on his face as he maneuvered the ship. As they sailed through the stars, Mia glanced around at her crew. They had faced incredible odds together, and each of them had proven their resolve. "Good work, everyone," Mia said, her voice filled with pride. "We've made it through this, but we need to stay vigilant. The consortium won't give up easily, and we must be ready for whatever comes next." The crew nodded, their expressions a mix of exhaustion and determination. They were in this together, and they would fight for their future. The hum of the Orion's Edge was a comforting sound as Mia sat in the command chair, gazing at the stars through the viewscreen. They had successfully evaded the consortium and taken down an enemy ship, but the cost weighed heavily on her mind. The ship was battered, and the crew was exhausted. They needed to regroup and prepare for what lay ahead. "Raj, how long until we reach the repair station?" Mia asked, turning her attention to the console where Raj was working diligently. "About 20 minutes, Captain. If we maintain our current speed, we should arrive without any further complications," Raj replied, his fingers flying over the controls. "Good. Use that time to check our systems and see what can be repaired in transit. I want us operational as soon as we dock," Mia instructed. "Aye, Captain," Raj said, diving deeper into the diagnostics. Mia sighed, glancing around the bridge. The crew was weary, but there was a spark of resilience in their eyes. They had faced down a powerful enemy and come out on the other side, albeit bruised and battered. "Zirkin, can you run a diagnostic on the shields? I want to know how close we are to complete failure," Mia requested. "Initiating diagnostic now, Captain," Zirkin replied, its voice calm and measured. "Shield integrity is at 20% and declining. We will need to divert power from other systems to bolster them during repairs." "Understood. Let's prioritize repairs to the shields once we dock," Mia said, her mind racing through their next steps. As the Orion's Edge cruised through the darkness, Mia reflected on their recent victories. The battle with the consortium had shown her the strength and resilience of her crew. They had fought together, and their determination had forged bonds that would carry them through the toughest of times. "Captain, I'm detecting a transmission coming through," one of the crew members said, pulling Mia from her thoughts. "Put it on screen," Mia ordered, her curiosity piqued. The viewscreen flickered to life, revealing a familiar face. It was Commander Talia from the Resistance. Her expression was serious, and Mia felt a surge of relief mixed with apprehension. "Mia, thank the stars you're alive," Talia said, her voice laced with concern. "We've been tracking the consortium's movements, and I feared the worst after your last engagement." "We're battered but still kicking, Talia," Mia replied, her voice steady. "We took out a supply ship and managed to evade their main fleet. But we need assistance. We're headed to the nearest repair station to regroup." "Good. I have news," Talia said, her expression turning grave. "The consortium is consolidating their forces. They're planning a major offensive, and we need to be prepared. We can't let them regain their strength." "Any intel on their movements?" Mia asked, her mind racing. "Yes, we have scouts positioned near their supply routes. We believe they're attempting to regroup their ships and consolidate their control over the sector," Talia said. "If we can strike at their main fleet before they fully mobilize, we could turn the tide." Mia's heart raced at the prospect. "We need to gather our forces and make a plan. Can you rendezvous with us at the repair station?" "Absolutely. I'll send a few ships to meet you there. We can discuss strategies and figure out our next steps together," Talia replied, determination in her eyes. "Good. We'll need every ally we can get," Mia said, feeling a surge of hope. "Let's make sure we're ready for whatever they throw at us." After ending the transmission with Talia, Mia felt a renewed sense of purpose. The crew was still working hard at their stations, but she could see the weariness etched on their faces. "All right, everyone, we're heading into a critical phase. We need to regroup, make repairs, and prepare for our next engagement," Mia said, her voice steady. "We're going to be facing the consortium again, and we need to hit them hard while they're vulnerable." "We've got your back, Captain," Raj said, glancing up from his console with a determined expression. "We'll have the systems back online in no time." Mia nodded, appreciating the resolve of her crew. "Let's make sure we prioritize the shields and engines. We need to be ready to move quickly." As the Orion's Edge approached the repair station, Mia felt a mix of relief and anticipation. The station loomed ahead, a bustling hub of activity with ships coming and going. "Docking procedures initiated," Raj announced, his focus unwavering. Mia took a deep breath, steeling herself for the challenges ahead. They had survived the battle, but now they had to strategize and prepare for the next fight. "Once we're docked, I want all hands on deck for repairs. We can't afford to waste any time," Mia instructed. "Aye, Captain," the crew replied in unison, a sense of camaraderie evident in their voices. The Orion's Edge docked smoothly, and Mia felt a wave of relief wash over her. She stepped onto the station, taking in the bustling activity around her. Engineers were working tirelessly on various ships, and the air was filled with the sounds of machinery and chatter. "Captain," Talia called out as she approached. "Good to see you made it here safely." "Likewise, Talia," Mia replied, offering her a firm handshake. "How's your team?" "Exhausted but determined," Talia said, her expression serious. "We've been gathering intel and strategizing. If we want to strike at the consortium, we need to be coordinated and smart about our moves." "Agreed," Mia said, her heart racing at the thought of their next steps. "What's the latest intel?" Talia gestured for Mia to follow her to a nearby conference room. Once inside, she activated a holographic display, light a detailed map of the sector. "The consortium has been consolidating their forces here," Talia pointed to a cluster of red markers on the map. "They're planning a major offensive to reclaim territories lost during our skirmishes." "Damn," Mia muttered, her mind racing. "We need to hit them before they can fully mobilize. How many ships can we muster?" "Right now, we have about 5 ships ready to engage, plus a few smaller fighters," Talia replied. "It's not a large fleet, but if we coordinate our attack, we might have a chance." "Let's plan our assault carefully," Mia said, her heart pounding. "We need to target their supply lines first, disrupt their reinforcements, and create chaos within their ranks." "I agree," Talia said, her eyes narrowing with determination. "If we can cause enough disruption, we might force them to pull back, allowing us to regroup and strike harder." Mia and Talia spent the next hour strategizing, detailing their plans on the holographic map. They identified key supply routes and vulnerable points in the consortium's defenses, discussing the best tactics for their upcoming assault. "Okay, I think we have a solid plan," Mia said, her heart racing with excitement. "We'll coordinate our ships to strike simultaneously at multiple points. It'll create confusion and make it harder for them to retaliate effectively." Talia nodded, her expression serious. "I'll mobilize my team and ensure everyone is ready for the strike. We need to make sure all our ships are operating at peak efficiency." "Let's also prepare for contingencies," Mia said, her mind racing. "If things go south, we need an escape route planned." "Absolutely," Talia agreed. "We'll have a fallback point established in case we need to retreat." As they finalized their plans, Mia felt a sense of determination swelling within her. They were on the brink of a significant confrontation, and the stakes were higher than ever. She was grateful for the support of her crew and Talia's team. Together, they had a chance to turn the tide against the consortium. "All right, let's get to work," Mia said, rising from the table. "We'll need every moment to prepare for this." "Let's do it," Talia replied, a fierce glint in her eyes. The hours that followed were a blur of activity. The Orion's Edge underwent repairs, and the crew worked tirelessly to ensure that every system was functioning optimally. Mia moved through the ship, encouraging her crew and offering support where she could. "Keep pushing, everyone. We're almost there," she shouted, her voice ringing through the corridors. As they prepared for their mission, Mia felt a sense of unity among her crew. They were no longer just a team. They were a family, bonded by their shared struggles and victories. "Captain, all systems are green," Raj called out as he finished the final checks. "Excellent work, Raj," Mia replied, pride swelling in her chest. "Let's get ready to move." Once the repairs were completed and the crew was ready, Mia gathered everyone in the command center for a final briefing. "Listen up, team. We've been through a lot, And now we're standing on the precipice of something monumental, Mia began, her voice steady and commanding. We're going to strike at the consortium's heart, disrupt their supply lines, and show them that we will not be intimidated. The crew exchanged determined glances, their expressions a mix of anxiety and excitement. The Orion's edge glided through the vastness of space, its hull gleaming under the light of distant stars. Inside, a palpable sense of triumph filled the air as the crew prepared for their next move. Mia stood at the command console, her gaze fixed on the star map, each point of light a potential ally, each cluster of darkness a remnant of the consortium's grip. "Captain, we've received transmissions from several resistance groups," Raj reported, his voice filled with excitement. "They want to coordinate efforts for a united front against the consortium." Mia's heart raced. This was the moment they had fought for, an opportunity to consolidate their strength and rally the galaxy. "Patch them through, Raj," she commanded, a smile breaking across her face. The viewscreen flickered to life, revealing the faces of leaders from various factions, each one marked by the struggles they had endured. Talia appeared front and center, her expression fierce and resolute. "Mia, it's good to see you," Talia said, her voice steady. "We're ready to discuss how we can unite our forces. The consortium will be vulnerable after our recent victory, but we need to act fast." Mia nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on her shoulders. "I agree. We need a plan to capitalize on their disarray. Let's share our intel and see how we can strike at their supply lines and command centers." The leaders exchanged glances, a silent understanding passing among them. They were no longer isolated factions, they were allies, bound by a common goal. As the meeting progressed, strategies were laid out, tactics discussed, and risks evaluated. The atmosphere buzzed with energy, each leader contributing insights from their respective sectors. "We need to focus on their communications hub," a grizzled veteran from a mining colony suggested. "If we disrupt their ability to coordinate, we can sow chaos among their ranks." "Agreed," Talia responded. "If we hit them hard and fast, we might create a domino effect, forcing them to retreat." Mia felt a rush of determination as ideas flowed. "Let's create strike teams. We can deploy smaller ships to hit multiple targets simultaneously, overwhelming their defenses." "Sounds like a plan," Raj chimed in. "We'll need precise timing to make it effective. I can coordinate the tech side from the Orion's edge." "Then it's settled," Mia declared, her heart pounding with anticipation. "We launch in 3 days. Everyone, gather your forces and prepare. This is our chance to turn the tide once and for all." In the days that followed, the crew of the Orion's Edge worked tirelessly. Each member of the crew understood the stakes. They had become a family forged in the fires of battle. Mia moved among them, offering encouragement and support, her heart swelling with pride. Raj spent countless hours in the engine room, fine-tuning the ship's systems. Zirkin was busy interfacing with the various technology aboard, ensuring they could disrupt enemy communications. Meanwhile, Mia led tactical drills, preparing the crew for the challenges ahead. "Remember, we're not just fighting for ourselves," Mia reminded them during one drill. "We're fighting for everyone who can't fight for themselves. This is our moment to reclaim the galaxy." The crew nodded, determination etched on their faces. Each day brought them closer to the launch, and the weight of their mission loomed larger. 3 days later, the Orion's Edge was ready. As they gathered in the command center for the final briefing, Mia felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. "All right, everyone," she began, her voice steady. "Today, we become the vanguard of a new movement. We're going to strike at the consortium's heart, disrupt their operations, and send a clear message that we will not be oppressed." Cheers erupted from the crew, but Mia raised a hand to quiet them. "We will face danger, and not all of us may return. But I believe in each and every one of you. Together, we can change the course of this war." Talia stood beside Mia, her eyes fierce. "Let's show them what we're made of. The time for action is now." With their spirits high, they launched into space, heading toward the designated targets. The sleek vessels of their allied forces surrounded the Orion's Edge, a united front against the consortium. As they approached the enemy territory, Mia's heart raced. The consortium's command center loomed ahead, heavily fortified and teeming with activity. She felt the tension in the air, a mix of fear and excitement. "Approaching the target zone," Raj announced, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We'll need to time our strikes perfectly." Mia took a deep breath, her mind racing through the plan. "Zircon, prepare to disrupt their communications as soon as we're in range. Raj, maintain a safe distance until we're ready to engage." "Understood, Captain," both Zircon and Raj replied in unison. As they entered the fray, the ships split into groups, moving toward their designated targets. Mia's heart pounded as the first shots rang out. The air was filled with the sounds of battle. The brilliant flashes of energy blasts light the darkness of space. "Now, Zircon," Mia shouted, "disrupt their communications." Zircon's eyes glowed with intensity as it worked its magic on the enemy systems. The consortium ships began to falter, their coordinated movements thrown into chaos. Mia felt a surge of hope as her team pressed the attack. "Raj, keep us on their flank. We need to maintain pressure," Mia commanded. "On it," Raj responded, his fingers flying over the controls. As the battle raged on, Mia felt the adrenaline coursing through her veins. They were holding their own, striking with precision and speed. The consortium was clearly caught off guard, and she could see the confusion on their ships as they struggled to regain control. "Captain, we've breached their outer defenses," one of the crew members announced, excitement filling their voice. "Push forward," Mia commanded. "Let's take out that command center." The Orion's Edge surged forward, weaving through enemy fire, Raj deftly maneuvering the ship as they closed in on their target. The command center loomed larger, a massive structure brimming with power. "Prepare to fire," Mia shouted, adrenaline fueling her resolve. "On my mark, 3, 2, 1, fire." Energy blasts erupted from the ship, striking the command center with devastating force. The station shuddered, the enemy scrambling to respond. Suddenly, a transmission crackled through the comms. "This is Commander Hax of the consortium. We will not be intimidated by your cowardly tactics. Surrender now, and you may yet live." Mia's jaw clenched. "They think we'll back down? Not a chance." "Captain, they're deploying reinforcements," Raj warned, his focus unbroken. "We need to finish this quickly." "Let's take out their command ship before those reinforcements arrive," Mia ordered. "Full power to forward shields and weapons." The Orion's Edge surged forward, closing in on the massive command ship that was now in their sights. Energy crackled around them as they prepared to fire again. "Locking onto target," Raj said, determination in his voice. "Now," Mia shouted. The energy blast erupted from the Orion's Edge, striking the command ship with incredible force. The hull groaned under the impact, and explosions erupted across its surface. "We've got them on the ropes," Raj shouted, his excitement infectious. "Keep the pressure on," Mia commanded. "We can't let them recover." The enemy ship was struggling to respond, its defenses weakened and chaotic. Mia felt a surge of hope as the resistance forces continued to press their attack. But just as they were gaining momentum, an alarm blared across the bridge. "Captain, incoming fire from the rear." Mia turned, her heart sinking as she saw a fleet of consortium reinforcements emerging from the shadows. "They've flanked us." "Raj, evasive maneuvers. Zircon, prepare to activate the feedback loop," Mia shouted, adrenaline surging through her. The ship shuddered as Raj executed evasive maneuvers, but the consortium ships were closing in fast. The Orion's Edge shook as energy blasts struck their shields. "Shields at 50%, a crew member shouted, panic creeping into their voice. "We need to retreat," Talia urged. "We can regroup and strike again." "No," Mia said, determination igniting her resolve. "We can't let them regroup. We need to take out that command ship now." "Captain, We're outnumbered, Raj warned, sweat beading on his forehead. We need to get out of here. Mia's heart raced as she weighed their options. She could feel the pressure of the moment, the weight of her crew's lives resting on her shoulders. Zirkin, can you create a diversion? Mia asked, her mind racing. I can initiate a feedback loop to disrupt their targeting systems, but it will take some time to stabilize, Zirkin replied. Do it. We need every second we can get, Mia commanded. As Zirkin worked its magic, Mia felt the tension in the air thicken. They were on the brink of disaster, but she refused to back down.